There it is.
Hey, welcome. You like my music?
Well, they might get tired of hearing the same thing over and
So
over.
welcome to the Bob and Tam show. Look, I still haven't got all my color out of my eyes yet from all that riding. We did a little over 600 miles in Florida on the motorcycle. The rental car, we did about 500 miles, which that's kind of odd because we didn't really drive it very much,
No,
just back and
once
forth.
we got the bike, we didn't ride.
Well, I
the
guess
car
it's about
though.
100 miles each way. I think it was 90 miles each way.
George is on
From
Mike.
Orlando to Daytona. So got a bunch of stuff we want to talk about tonight. And so we'll wait for a few more people to come on and check it all out. Let me get my Facebook pages all up and going.
Craig's on. You still up there in Las Vegas, Craig? Clint's on. Hey, how you doing, Clint? And Mike says, we're over here also. I saw that. You guys finally had some decent weather. It's been nice here. Tomorrow it's supposed to be, what, 80 degrees?
Close to it.
My kind of weather. Rowan's on. Good day, Rowan. How are you doing? Guess it's good evening, huh? No, you would be morning. I know you're always the opposite of what we are. Terry's on. Back from Antarctica. How was your trip? I bet you that was awesome. You'll have to send me some pictures. Gary Ryan's on. He says he loves us. Thank you, Gary. We love you too. Rick's on. He's up in Las Vegas too. How are you doing, Rick? And Gary Magellano. Miglino. He said, good evening. Thanks for your hard work and give us the scoop, I guess what he wants to say. Nope, I'm back in Arizona yesterday.
All right. So we're
great. It's 10 a.m. there. So it is morning. It's
so
evening here.
We're now in Arizona because of our Indians. We do not do daylight savings time. We don't switch anything like that. So we're Pacific time. So it's actually 4 p.m. here. Depending on where you're at, if Neil comes on, it's 3 o'clock. And then over there on the East Coast, you'll be about 7 o'clock. I figured that all out right. And everybody in between. And if you're overseas, you'll have to tell me what time you are. Because
10 a.m., Rowan says.
I didn't calculate all that stuff. So
we're lucky we get the United States.
Yeah.
And
so great weather here. We were up to about, 75 right now at 4:02 Eastern time, Pacific time. We are at 75 and it'll start cooling down a little bit today or now because the sun's going to
go down.
But
anybody get to see the lunar moon eclipse? I didn't make it.
We went out and looked on whatever it was, Wednesday night, Thursday night, whatever it was supposed to be the first night. Yeah. Went out and it was just pure white. There was nothing to see. So she kept thinking, well, maybe it's when the sun comes up. Well, I seen a couple other people in Florida said it was around 2 a.m. They went out and seen it. And I don't know. We've seen eclipse before, so it's not the end of the world.
But it makes it red.
I don't know if it was red or not. Most of the pictures I seen, it looked like it was more just like a lunar eclipse. So I don't know.
Somebody did a time lapse of it. I don't remember who that was. I saw it on Facebook and it looked more orangey than red to me, but it still would have been neat to see, but I can't stay up that late.
So what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk a little bit about Daytona. We're going to talk a little bit about our veterans bike giveaway that we've got. We're going to talk a little bit about the video I made on that bike. And we're going to talk a little bit about the marine bike that we're giving away. We've gotten quite a few letters written in on the marine bike. So if you know anybody, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about Biketoberfest. So got a lot of things to cover tonight and talk about. We're still in the bar, the shop / the extra garage at the house. She was thinking about going over to the studio and I just thought, yeah, I'm not going to fool with it today. Internet ended up being pretty good here. So we just leave it at that. So we'll just do it here. Everything's quicker. I'm working on a video. Actually, it's done. I got to upload it. One of the things, nobody's really watching the last 2 videos we put up. Friday and Saturday's videos is pretty slim pickings. So if you didn't watch it, go back and watch that later and check that out. I don't really know why my videos, they're not even getting to 1,000 views. It's really pitiful. One of them was, I don't even know what the 2 of them were on now. But
when was the girls, the Royal Enfield girls from the flat track racing?
Yeah, and I thought that would bring a lot of views, but I mean, it just doesn't, everybody whines about it all the time about, why don't you guys cover the racing? This is exactly why, because every time we've covered something on motorcycle racing, nobody seems to be interested in it. So it's like, yeah, cover it. But nobody, once again, nobody watches it.
And
so
if you go, there's very few people in the stands too.
And so it's kind of sad. People say, well, why don't you cover the 200? 200's on TV. So you can see all that. The problem with that is we can't get media passes for them. She said I filed last year and I didn't get them. I thought I filed too late and that's why I couldn't get them. I didn't even try this year of getting it because it takes us away from another day of not covering stuff during a rally. And so this year it kind of got screwed up like that too, because being that we didn't get there early, which we were the weekend before, but we already had stuff going on. It took the bike didn't come in until I think Wednesday or something when we decided to go pick that up. So we only had a couple of days there to get going. Friday it all started. So we didn't really have a whole lot of time to do everything we wanted to do. Plus we got a little bit of rainy mist the first week going on. And then of course we had the rain on Wednesday. And then a little bit on Saturday. So that kind of messed up. I'm not blaming anything on any of our subscribers, but we did go out for 2 rides. One of them is we went out with a couple. We did the Ormond Loop, and then we went out to Flagler Beach, and we ate there.
Went up to St. Augustine's. And to see Rat Fink.
Yep, and then came back. So that was pretty much most of a day. It was afternoon. And then we also did the day after that is we went to New Smyrna. I'm saying that right? New Smyrna. And they took us out on the peninsula. Another subscriber that we have. Never been there. It was the coolest place I've been. Out of all of Florida, it was the closest thing to being on the beach because it was just a real cool little street that I think we ate at the Flagler Inn. One of our other subscribers actually has a YouTube channel, which I don't remember who it was now. If they come on, they can say who they were. Said, well, we seen you, but we didn't want to talk to you. Don't ever hesitate. As long as the cameras aren't up and we're talking, like a lot of times there, I was sitting at the bar and I was just filming people walking by and things like that. That doesn't make any difference because we're probably not going to put any sound behind that. But if we're standing with a camera in front of us and we're doing an intro or we're doing something like that, or we're interviewing somebody, yes, no, don't interrupt us. But 99% of the time, if we're just walking around with the camera, we're just getting, we call that B-roll footage, not showing what I'm going to use and what we're not going to use. A lot of it we don't ever get around to using. But so it's not a big deal to walk up. I had one of the videos that popped up. You're going to actually hear me in the background talking to somebody. I guess it was if you watched Willie's, I think on some of that video, I was actually talking to a couple others YouTubers while I was filming, and I ended up using some of that in the video. So hey, it is what it is. So this year for Daytona for us, we just we couldn't get into the groove of what we were used to doing rallies. It just we didn't get to go back out to Cackleberry. We didn't get to go back out to Cabbage Patch. We usually try to do a thing there. We didn't go to the Burning Bike on Friday night. It was awful cool at night. We had some nights that got down into the 40s at night. And so we didn't really want to fool around with that. The rain, we missed the last bikini contest on Saturday. The last Saturday was at the Broken Spoke, the Broken Spoke. It was Twisted Tea. We wanted to go there, but we were doing the live setup. And I'm like, I don't want to get to where we're stuck at the Broken Spoke and it pours down rain because we already tried to do a live from there. If any of you remember that on Facebook, and we didn't even get a minute before we lost all signal. So it was just really bad.
And we were already set up to do that live at the dealership. So we didn't want to get down there and get stuck and come back either in the pouring rain or not be able to get down there. I don't know. We just figured we'd better stay where we were at because we were already at the dealership.
That's right. We just gamble with that.
So Gary, the 300 bikes at Destination Daytona sold were new and used, not just all used or not just all new. It was the combination.
We'll get a final number, but it was over 300 that they sold. So it was really good. They're not Sturgis. Sturgis sold like 645. So yes, that's new and used bikes that they're selling. So whenever they give a total of a dealership during a rally, it's always the total amount of bikes. And also they're bringing in trade-ins. Now they're not counting if they wholesale a trade-in or something like that. That's not counted. It's actually retail sales. But a lot of the bikes, we were checking prices and they really weren't too bad of prices on some of them. And one of the things when we were talking to one of the salesmen there, that they said what they do there at Teddy's is they kind of put the price up a little bit higher on the bikes. But if it's a new bike, you get the lifetime warranty on the motor and the transmission, which isn't a bad thing, but it's non-transferable. That's the only bad news about it.
If you ever sell
if you're looking to say, just kind of like me, if I that would have been great on my bike, my CVO had something like that. I paid for the extended warranty. I think it was $2,000 or whatever I paid for the extended warranty. Never used any of that during that time. It's always a gamble. what you're going to do. But if you're looking at like, hey, I'm thinking about keeping a bike forever, then that lifetime warranty is a good thing to think about, especially with the motor and the transmission. It's not going to cover your brakes or tires or anything like that. That's all extra stuff you can invest in. But just something to think about. But what they were doing is they gave you more for your trade-in. There's a lot of places now, like car lots and stuff. You go down and take your car, or if I take my little truck down and trade it in, they're only going to give me wholesale for it now. They don't give you retail anymore. It used to be car lots would give you what they would sell it for. Now the car lots are the new car and the used car departments, two different departments. So the used car department wants to get it wholesale so they can turn around and they can make $4,000 or $5,000 off of it. So that's something that Teddy's is doing down there. They're not doing that. They're giving you more for your bike. Or if you don't have a trade-in, they'll lower the price on it for you. So you're getting what you're getting, but that's kind of how it all is anyway.
That's how they said it. So Terry wanted to know, he didn't get to go to Mecum auction because he went to the Antarctica for his big 50 birthday. I think it was the 50th. Anyone know if we bought anything at the Mecum auction?
No.
That's what I said. No money.
That was part of it. We're hoping that we haven't heard back on the guy with the helmet, so that's kind of weird. We're gonna have to try to see if we can get a hold of him next week. Call him, see if we can get a hold of somebody there. Got a helmet we're gonna auction off. We're gonna try to start finding some things to raffle off to get some money in by next year, to where they had some great deals on bikes. A lot of them around $1,500, and they would have been great vet bike giveaways. So that would have been really, really, really exciting if we could have gotten them. So I will have to see how next year goes, if it all works, if there's any good bikes at that price, or if they're higher or lower or whatever it might be going on. So right now we've only got, I think we've collected about $250 in cash on our non-for-profit.
And thank you all.
Yep.
Anybody
that have given,
donated.
And then we've got a new bike, not a new bike, a new bike to us.
A new bike to give away.
We have a 1998 Harley Davidson Fat Boy, but it's got that, I don't know what the package is called.
Something Streeter.
Yeah, something like that. But it's a really cool bike. I'd actually wouldn't mind keeping the bike. It's got the Evo motor on it. It's got the Racing Eagle heads on it. It's got 2-in-1 exhaust. Now it's only set up for, which we've had a lot of you, because I asked ideas that people would recommend doing to the bike. Well, a lot of people said put a 2-up seat on it. That's not going to happen, because the fender in the back is a custom aftermarket fender. It's got the tail lights in it. You couldn't put a second seat on the back.
Thanks, Neil.
There's nothing for it. I'm assuming, I didn't tap on it. I'm thinking it's probably fiberglass, but I mean, I haven't looked at it yet. We haven't done a lot with the bike yet. We didn't get over there the last 2 days with all the stuff trying to get done and settled in here from being on the road so long. I haven't really got a chance to get into the bike and see what's going on with it. We see that the speedometer is not working and the odometer is not working. I haven't gone in to check out why that's not working yet. A lot of people are saying they heard the clicking noise. It's actually got that air cleaner on it. It's got the 2 baffles in it. And so when it's running, it's flapping them in and out. So you hear a ticking noise. That's what that was. Also, I got a dozen or more people complaining about my straps that I bought that we're using. First of all, back it up, which I'm going to end up doing a video on it, because I had so many people, and probably most of you aren't going to be on the live here to discuss this with you. We left our vehicle, our family truckster that we have, at Red Rock Harley Davidson. That's where we left it and parked there, so we didn't have to pay the $200. It was cheaper. It was $60 to go there and back, $30 each way from the hotel to the back to the hotel and stuff like that. So it was cheaper for us to leave it there than it would be for us to pay for parking. So they volunteered to do that. So we've been kind of adding about getting a bike from them. And when we left, they said, oh, we're getting ready. We're talking to a guy, a car lot wanted to sell us a bike. And he said, this might be really good for you. But it wasn't this bike. And we're like, whatever. I said, well, if something works out, we've got the family truckster. It's got the receiver on it. So I didn't bring anything. Probably should have, but if we would have done all that, I would never got a bike.
Never got a bike.
So when we pull up, and I got a cough here. When I pulled up, and we went inside, we went to the thank you, and he says, I think I got a bike for you guys. And I'm like, really? And he says, well, it's a 98. But he says, it runs really good. He says, I don't think you guys are going to have to do a whole lot of work to it. I'm like, I'm for it. The year isn't that big important as it is a good running bike. Something that's, this has got some slick wheels on it. The tires all look really good on it yet. So it looks
lots of chrome. It's all nice.
And then they cleaned it all up and everything. So that's what they told us. And they said, so I already knew it was going to rain the next day. So we got there we flew in on Tuesday. So Tuesday, I knew Wednesday night into Thursday, they were predicting rain. So when he told us on Tuesday that we could get the bike, I'm like, well, how about picking it up tomorrow? How's that sound? He's like, that's great. The sooner you get it out of here, the sooner somebody won't sell it on us. And I'm like, okay, that's great. So we'll come get it Tuesday. So we call all over. I wanted to get a trailer, a U-Haul trailer just to go one way, but motorcycle trailers, they don't normally. I like the motorcycle trailer because it's got the wheel chuck in it already. That way you don't have to worry about it bouncing around in the trailer. I've used those trailers actually, I hauled my bike to Sturgis a couple years ago with that when we bought the trailer. And so we finally found a dealer that had a trailer. So we got that set up, and I'm like, well, she had a doctor's appointment on Wednesday morning that we had to go do in Vegas. So we went to the doctor. We go to Harbor Freight because that's like, I don't have a hitch. I don't have any straps. If you watch any of my videos in the garage, I probably have, I'll say probably 100, but it's probably not that many straps that I have.
At least 50.
Yeah, we have a lot of straps, some heavy duty ones, everything else. And when we went to Harbor Freight, she went back there first and found these ones for $12.95. They held 500 pounds each. And I'm like, they're good enough. I'll check them. Worked fine. Yes. Would I have normally used those straps? No, but we rode exactly 100 miles is what we pulled the trailer. I checked it several times. No issues with it. A couple other people said, well, one guy said to hook it to your handlebars. Well, I've learned from other people on big bikes, on a dirt bike's a different story because the bikes are so much lighter, but on full dressers, now this wasn't a full dresser. You don't want to hook to the handlebars because it could be with the bouncing and everything, you can bend handlebars. They are bendable. Not normally, but it can happen. So I used to do that until somebody told me that story and said, you really don't want to strap to your handlebars. So the way I hooked it was the same way that Paul Bikes does it. And also a lot of the other people that I've seen do stuff, it hooked it the way I did. No, I didn't have the felt. I don't have the furry guys to put on it. Those are in the shop too. Nobody sells anything like that. You almost have to make those stupid things. So that's what it was.
You got some pool noodles where you cut them up.
Nah, that wouldn't have. When you would have went around it, it would have crushed we wouldn't have worked. You got to have like the little fuzzy things. But so yes, those aren't the best straps. It wasn't the best hitch that I could have bought. It wasn't what it was. What it is. Once again, this is money that we're spending that I have to do to get this here. So it cost us $70 for the trailer. It cost me $12.95 for the straps. It cost me like $18 for the hitch. And yeah, you could try to take it back, but we use the stuff. So it is what it is. Now that came out of our YouTube money. We're trying not to take any money out of our bike build vet money. But it's once again, we've got almost $100 invested just to bring the bike home before we even do anything to the bike yet. So chill out. It wasn't what I normally would have done. Probably normally I wouldn't even have filmed me doing that, but we knew the video to try to get some kind of length, show a little bit of me strapping it in and stuff. Oh yeah, it was chrome, but nothing got marred up. Once again, we didn't haul it 1,000 miles. I wouldn't have done it that way if I was going to haul it 1,000 miles across the United States. So that's that. And we're probably going to do a video on that when I go around and talk about the bike. We're going to do a video here sometime next week where I'm going to walk around the bike. We're going to talk about it. Some of the things that I see. I'm going to probably take it out and ride it a little bit around town. I ain't got no plate for it yet. We're trying to figure out how we're going to do that. Hopefully Monday or Tuesday, somebody from the dealer corporations that we're trying to get a hold of to see if we need dealer plates or what we need to do. Our 501 plan, when we got it through the state, through the IRS and all that kind of stuff, they said we don't pay any sales tax and not to worry about anything. Well, the problem is we need to ride the bike. I need to drive it to make sure there's nothing wrong. It's not pulling. It's not doing something weird when you're shifting through the gears. I don't have a dyno to run it on, but driving it is going to be better than actually necessarily putting on a dyno. But I mean, this bike's got some good performance in it. I almost going to have to give this to a veteran that's had some kind of motorcycle experience. It's probably going to be a little more powerful than what a stock bike would be, which definitely it is. But it's a really cool bike. Like I say, after I rode it just a little bit out of the trailer and put it in the garage, I'm like, this bike is slick. The paint's a little faded on the gas tank, but I mean, I think I'm going to leave it the way it is. It looks really nice. Video always makes it look a little bit better than what it does. We'd like to get some stripes, but we don't know right now, I don't know how I'm going to give this away yet. We were kind of going to, which we've been discussing this week about this, because we've been saying all along that we wanted to give it to somebody like with had PTSD. Well, with the way the laws are today, the HIPAA laws and things like this, nobody can actually, unless somebody comes to me and says, hey, I got PTSD. But do they or do they not? You can't prove that. You can't go to the VA hospital, or I can't go to VFW or something like that and say, this is my requirement that I need is I want somebody with PTSD. So we figured we're going to have to rethink about how we're going to give it away. So we may end up
still going to a vet.
Yes, it's still going to go to a veteran. We may end up doing something like a couple of videos and have you do the same thing like we're doing with this marine bike. Hey, if you're interested in this bike, here's what you need to do. If you're a veteran, you're going to write us a little letter. Now, this doesn't start as, so don't be sending me a bunch of stuff yet, because we're getting.
We don't know when we're going to give it away.
Yeah. And then that's something else we're going to talk about too in this is I don't know how we're going to do it yet to give it away to a veteran. So it's probably going to be anybody that has been a veteran in the U.S. Army, and you've got a DS-18. Is that what it's called?
I think so. DSS.
Disabled card. Somebody's going to write down and exactly tell me what it is.
Neil will.
And so you got to have that card, and we're going to require a copy of that, a picture off your phone or something like that with you standing next to it, so we know it's you and you before you get the bike, just to make sure that we are really, truly giving these bikes away to veterans. I would hate to do, which there's a long story, which we won't get to with our Moose. They thought they were giving money to a veteran organization, and then ended up finding out after about 4 or 5 years, the guy was cashing the check down at Walmart, and then he's gone now, and there's no such business. There was no such organization as that. So people do get screwed all the time, and what we want to do everything humanly possible to make sure our bikes do go to veterans. So being that way, it's not necessarily you'd have to have issues to get this bike. So that's another thing. The other thing that I'm thinking about doing is maybe we'll give it away in Sturgis. We'll have to see how that works out. But we'll have to make sure the person that's coming to get it is going to Sturgis. We'll see. No, you want to say something?
Well, Gary Ryan said that his notifications does not work all the time. We don't have anything to do with it. That's all YouTube or whoever does all that.
May not work.
What you can do is unsubscribe or not unsubscribe.
Turn the bell off.
Yeah. Turn off the notifications and then try to turn it on again.
Now, this you may not get notifications for, because this runs through a third-party group, which is called StreamYard. Now, some of you can tell me if you got a notification for this. We don't put it on right now. There's something weird going on with Facebook, and it won't even put them on there at all. So I'm putting it on after we already get out. So if you're getting notified that way. So normally our lives are always going to be at the same time. We try to do them all in this time frame here on Sundays if we're in town and if we're here and things like that. Rallies is a whole different story. Rallies, sometimes we do it in the spur of the moment. It's like, hey, I got good internet. We got something to talk about. Let's get it going. And that's how quick we do it. So we understand.
DD214.
There you go. I knew I could call my buddy Art. He would tell me what it was.
Yeah.
But
I knew Neil would know too.
And that's what we're going to need. If you're a veteran and you end up winning the bike, we need to make sure you have one of those. We've also got a lot of other things. So we're hoping now, since we've got the first dealership, which is Red Rock Harley Davidson, is who gave us this first bike. No catch, no nothing. They gave us the title. They gave us a receipt. We paid $0 for it. And so it's 100% right now. No cost out of this. We're hoping that if the speedometer is bad, I'm hoping that we can go through V-Twin Visionary, which said they could get us parts. I seen that JP Cycles and Cycle Drag and stuff sells an aftermarket speedometer. You got to get an adapter to hook it up to it. But first I got to take it apart and make sure I got power and all that going to it, that it's not a power issue, and see what else is going on. I got to check everything out. The headlight comes on and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to, like I say, what we have now is a very short time frame. I've still got my ATVs that I need to get finished up and get sold here before that gas goes bad and those again. So that's what I'm going to try to do this week coming up, is do that. I'm going to do a video on walking around the bike and talking a little bit about it. Probably take it out for a ride, and I'll probably film that, me riding it and stuff, so you guys can kind of see that right around the neighborhood or something. Wish I would have took my plate off my bike and I would have stuck that one on there. The odds of me getting pulled over is slim to none. I've never been pulled over on a motorcycle. Car, last time I got pulled over in a car because I was doing 65 in a 35 mile an hour or 55 mile an hour zone, I guess. And our daughter was in the truck and we were talking, and The cop was a
Wasn't paying
redneck.
attention.
Cop was a redneck and just gave me tickets. It was out here in Bullhead City. They just love to give tickets. So that was a long time ago. But
Charles is on.
So that's kind of what we got going on with that. Now, the second thing we've got going on is
they're all saying they got notifications through YouTube about the live.
Okay. So it is working. We're just checking on that because
Bundy.
They don't notify me that even though we subscribe to our own channel, we don't get notifications. So I don't know.
Yeah, YouTube.
So, okay. So
there was at least 3 that
So
said
if you're
yes.
not getting a notification, then try that. Turn the bell off, notification off, log back out of YouTube, log back into YouTube, and then go back to our video, watch a little bit of the video, and then hit it. Here's what happens, is you're not watching enough of our videos. That's first thing. 2, you may be watching other things that have nothing to do with motorcycles. Like, for instance, I do that. I'm looking for some new software. Equipment. I'm having trouble doing something. And so now I'm getting all that. Or I'm looking at, like right now, we found out how to take an Amazon stick and get more TV shows out of it. So I watched that. Now I got a whole bunch of videos that popped up about that. So YouTube tries to give you what you're looking for. We have people that we've subscribed to 10 years ago, and we don't get any notifications from any of those people anymore.
And we're still subscribed, and it's still the notification button is still clicked.
And then, but see what ends up happening, which we should have done when we first started, which I get from these people that we don't watch any of their videos anymore, is they got our email address. And what they do is they send an email out to you saying, hey, this video is coming up on Monday. We could still do that, but everybody would need to send us emails. You'd have to go on the Bob and Tam's, yahoo.com, and send us an email and say, hey, I want to be notified. And then I put you in a mass mailing that sends it out to everybody. And not everybody sees everybody else's email. But that's something we should have done. We didn't do.
So Brian Cowdy says, Roscoe's 2025, you'll get some good footage. I think is that chili cook-off? I think Rod King goes to that too. And a lot of shenanigans go on there, I've heard. So we could get some good footage, but we would not be able to use it on YouTube. Most of it anyway.
And we've kind of gotten away from that, especially this trip. We got away from it again too, is we're not getting so much as showing the boobs and all that in our Patreon channel. And we took out a lot of those videos off of there. I need to put some more stuff on Patreon and stuff like that. I've got the whole bikini contest I was going to put on there. Some other things that YouTube might question, we will still put on Patreon and for you guys to check out. For those that are still supporting us on there, we do appreciate that. Even though it's down to like $200 now a month, still $200 more than we're making someplace else. So we do appreciate that. We just haven't with rallies and stuff going on. I mean, putting videos out every day, it makes it tough.
In Arizona.
If the numbers keep staying down, we're going to drop back down to doing 2 or 3 videos and we can be done with it, because it's just sad that these last few videos that I put out just are not doing anything. But I do see a lot of people putting out Daytona videos and nothing's happening with them.
Because he already said it. That's why I didn't answer it, Jeff. We're in our garage, in the bar, at the house. So we're not at the shop. We're at the house in the 3rd garage.
Green screen. That's not the illusion you see is not really there. So yeah, well, I did have a video come up this morning, which I can't. It was actually a video that was put on my car channel. It was a Mustang. I put the power window in it. It's up to 200 views for the day. It came out this morning. My one that we had yesterday, which was the all girls flat track racing team in Daytona, 493. The Marine one, which I grant maybe you're not watching it because you're not a Marine, you're not interested, was 427 people watched that. But it's just kind of sad that that little bit of turnout comes out. Now my chopper shows come up, it's up to 12,000. So I like that. That's really helping a lot. We had a really good for YouTube wise. We had a really good rally for viewership.
For Daytona.
Yes, for Daytona. We're very pleased with the week that we had. We'll have to see how the last 2 years Daytona has sucked. It ended up being Myrtle Beach and Leesburg has been better rallies. People go, where the hell's Leesburg at?
A lot of people ask us that.
Just down the road. But I don't know why it is what it is. Why one's better. I don't know. What I look at it on our channel, and I say this all the time, is we have more people that watch our channel wanting to know about that rally. Not so much people that just say, well, which is when I first started this and thought we'd do these, I would have, me and Art talked about it for years to go into Daytona from California, but we would have needed 3 weeks, and both of us only had a 2-week vacation at that time. So I said, there's no humanly way we're going to be able to get that far, ride our bikes that far. We're not these guys that get on the bike and ride 500-600 miles every single day.
1,000.
And I'm not going to do that. It's 2,200 miles there and 2,200 miles back, and it's going to take us a week each way to get there. That's just the way it's going to be. We're not looking to die on the way of getting there. And plus, when we get there, we want to do some stuff. We want to have some fun while we're there. So I never got to go, but I would like to have seen it. The reason we went to Sturgis in the first place is because of the Full Throttle TV show. They showed you the stuff that was going on there. And after I watched the first year, I looked at her and said, we're going to Sturgis,
Florida.
And so, yes, we'd been to Florida and stuff before, but never to a motorcycle rally. Most of the motorcycle rallies that we did was always the West Coast stuff. We had Laughlin River Run that used to be right here. We did that for about 15 years in a row. Every year we did that. We did, I did the Reno Run up there. Did that twice. A couple other smaller events. We had one in Irvine, went there a couple of times. But we did a lot of riding, more riding than we did go to motorcycle rallies. And that's what we were hoping to do. May do it next year. I don't know if this year is going to work out. We want to do a ride up the coast. It's starting to get warm now, and that's making me think about that. I love, to me, it's the ride, not the destination. And when people always, I've talked about this before too. Trailer, they call people trailer queen, trailer rally. It's a trailer rally. It's a trailer rally. Well, first of all, you don't know what the people's circumstances are. You don't know why they did what they did. And not everybody can jump on a bike and take all this time off and get someplace. And so you don't always know the circumstances. Yes, if a guy's pulling his trailer from 300 miles away, then yeah, you might say something. But if he's going to stay like at Crazy Horse Campground and he's only paying 20 or 30 bucks a night, versus having to stay in a hotel for $1,500 for during the rally, why not pull the trailer 300 miles to get there? You got a place to stay. So you don't always know everybody's circumstances, which I used to make fun of people too that used to trailer. We went to Laughlin and stuff. You see trailers and stuff, but yet we were lucky when we went to Laughlin. Art had a buddy. We stayed at their place for free. They had some mobile homes that they didn't use. They weren't there all the time. So we'd stay in one mobile home and Art stayed in another one. So, but it didn't cost us nothing. So yeah, that's great. We rode the bike there all the time, but yet that's only 250, 300 miles each way. So it wasn't a long haul. It wasn't a long ride. And we rode to Sturgis, but when we ride to Sturgis, it was the mission of getting to Sturgis. We didn't really stop anywhere other than, that's why I always tell people when they're crabbing about riding. Now your exception, if you're somebody coming from Europe, or you're coming from Australia and you're going to be here for 3 months, well, hell yeah, you could ride all over the United States. But the rest of us had to work. You got 2 weeks vacation and you got to figure out how you want to do that. If you're going to do Sturgis, that's one trip and that's it. Took us 3 to 4 days each way to get to Sturgis. And we've spent a full week there. There's a guy we just talked to yesterday who goes to Sturgis, spends 1 day, gets there 1 day and leaves the next day. That's what he likes. That's what he does. So it's more of him, just the challenge of riding. But for us, we rode to Sturgis. We went the long way one time and it was over 2,000 miles, probably over 2,500 miles we ended up riding. She rode it too.
Yeah, it was 26.
And so what did it prove? It proved that we could do it. But did we really enjoy the ride? Was it the best ride I've ever rode?
We weren't excited when we got there. Let's say that.
It was wore out. For 3 days we sat in the grass where they have the Harley and the Indian display on LaSalle. We sat in the grass for 3 days, just watched bikes go by. We just didn't feel like riding anymore. Well, now we go just like here. I rode 600 miles in Daytona. You'd be saying, where the hell did you ride to? Nowhere. But we rode around, up and down, up and this way. We didn't do 600 miles on Main Street. But I mean, we did go down to St. Augustine's and we did go up to Smyrna, and we went out to the racetrack and we went a couple other different places like that. But we didn't go anywhere far with the bike. Well, I did have to ride it from Ocala. Yeah. So I put some miles on it there.
And you rode it back to Orlando.
Yeah, so we rode back to Orlando. So there was miles there that I put on too.
That's probably 100 miles.
But in that whole time, I rode it the whole time. Now, how many of you that rode your bike to Daytona?
Jeffy's on.
How much did you actually ride down there in Daytona? I'll bet you didn't ride 600 miles in Daytona. Because you do. Most people sit at a bar, they go someplace and they stay all day. Where we're out running around all the time. Well, Sturgis is like that too. We go to Sturgis and we put 1,500, 2,000 miles on that week that we're there. Now we put crazy miles on because we're there 8 weeks. But the idea is, but we're always on the motorcycle, which if you rode your bike there, you're on the motorcycle the whole time too. So the only time we ever really turn the car on was, well, one night it was rainy and she decided she wanted to go to the store. So we went to Walmart, which was right down the street from where we were staying, and got the groceries.
That one morning or something.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Really cold in the morning. I said, she goes, well, why don't we just run to Walmart and get the stuff we need for Walmart?
Like 41 degrees. I'm like, oh, let's not get on the bike. I said, we need to go to Walmart and get some groceries. Let's run to Walmart and then come back, and then it should be a little warmer. It was maybe 50 when we left then.
And we didn't bring our chaps or nothing like that. A lot of them had their chaps on and stuff. We didn't bring any of that stuff. We only rode on the highway twice. Most time we went down Nova, or we went down the 1 or the A1A, whatever it was. We were on those all the time. We really didn't get up on the highway, where typically if the weather was better, we would have rode a lot more on the highway to get to the dealership or get wherever we're going. Because we were staying, first week we stayed before the rally started, we stayed right off Main Street. We were 2 blocks off Main Street. And then when we moved, we went all the way over to Port Orange, which is where we stayed before at Sam's house. We were all the way down there. So that's an exit.
Actually, in probably Sam's backyard, basically.
Probably. And so it was farther to get to the dealership was about 30 miles on the highway.
26, I think it was, but close to 30. So Jeffrey's on. We haven't seen him in forever. And we miss you too. We love you too. Jeff Biscamp, who is Paul Yoffie? And where's he at? He said to say hi to him when we go to Leesburg. And it was Leesburg, Florida. I think Rowan asked that. And then Crap on a Cracker. I noticed that on my phone, I've got it just running. They say they're getting commercials now during the lives.
I seen that on somebody. I think I had the monkey on or something the other night for just a few minutes, and a commercial popped up, and I'm like, what's going on with that? We have no control over that.
And a lot of times we didn't think we ever got commercials because he would, like he said, we do a third-party streaming through StreamYard. And we thought, well, it isn't until it gets uploaded to YouTube, and that's when they put the commercials on. So how YouTube is getting in there and putting their commercials in?
Because it's running on YouTube. So I guess that's why you're seeing it. It's going through you. So yes, I can't control that.
No, I just answered it, Jeff.
What?
He said he wanted to know, oh, did you ask a question? Definitely don't want to get me bored. I don't know. He gets more bored easily than I do. We had a nice, relaxing morning. Details. Oh, on your upcoming Arizona Bike Week videos. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And then that's what he said. Say hi to Paul Yoffie. Yoffe. But I don't know. He's
a bike builder.
I think he's down. Is he supposed to be down there?
I think they set up at Cave Creek. And they do something.
Oh, we'll be there.
No, and that's really where we're staying at. We're going to be just like 6 miles from Cave Creek. We're still waiting to hear from the promoter. I've sent 2 or 3 different forms I've filled out to be media, and I heard nothing back. I'm going to try to call them next week because I'm going to tell them I'm not interested in your stupid concerts if that's what you're afraid of. But Speeds and also All About Customs is both going to be there. I don't know if anybody else is going to be there that are our sponsors that we have to do videos for them. Well, Joey said he'd call, but I don't know if he'll remember to do it or not. He said he'd call a lady and get us passes because that's what I said. I'm not paying $20 to get in or $14, whatever the hell they're charging. I'm not paying that.
Because there's only a handful of actually motorcycle vendors and the rest are
they say that's changed. So we'll see. I've had a bunch of people commenting on Facebook this week and saying it's all different from what it used to be. We'll see. I know the big trucks aren't going to be there. There's no JP Cycles. There's no Ciro truck. There's no Rick Rack truck. None of them are coming.
Yeah, somebody asked me that. There's some vendors you can get some work done. Where did he go?
The Speeds is going to be there, of course, and they've been there for years.
You know.
All About Customs has been going for a few years. Paul from the Fair and Exchange used to go, but he don't go anymore. But see, it's a long trip for them. You know, that's like I say, it's like us. It's 2,000 miles plus, depending on where they're coming from, to go to this 4,000 back, and it costs typically about $1 a mile for these big trucks to haul this equipment if they're only bringing 1 truck. So you figure that it's about $4,000 just for them to get there and get home, and then they got to rent a spot. And then if they have to get a motel room or whatever they're staying in or a house to rent, some of the vendors stay in their truck. Speed stays in theirs, and I think Joey and them stays in their truck. So that's if they allow them, because like at Teddy Morris this year, they were restricting that. They weren't allowing them to stay in their trailers and trucks. They were making them get out. So, which I don't know what the difference is if they do or not. I would think it'd be better to have vendors like that staying on the lot. You know, not that they're running around during the nighttime, but you have more
Have an
people.
eye out.
Yeah, you have more people with eyes seeing what's going on, and a problem with that. So I'll talk to Teddy about that later on and see what's going on. But we'll see how that goes. But I'm kind of excited to go to Arizona Bike Week this year. It worked out right by us flying in now to the other rallies. We're not stuck in Florida now. Right now, we'd be still in Florida. We'd be in Florida till we head to Myrtle Beach. And then from Myrtle Beach, we go to Sturgis. So we don't get home till after August. So with the bike builds, if we would have had them sooner, I would have had all the time in January and February that I could have done some stuff with them, but we didn't get anything.
I've only seen one.
So we're open now with that video, and we're going to start showing that video around to some of our other Harley Davidson dealers. And if you have one, copy that link and take it in there and say, because somebody asked me about Bert's Barracuda. I said, well, we don't go in there anymore now since we're not staying long anymore. But
we can sit into Gunner
and see what they want to do. And then we've got Hall Bikes that said they would bring the bikes to us. No telling how long it would take to get them here, but that's, you know, it's
beside the point.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That's right. The idea is, but I can't get more than one at a time. Well, our hope was we could do at least 3 a year would be really great. And it also depends on, you know, maybe if we had more bikes, we could get more bikes that needed issues. Like maybe when somebody had a bike at home that blew the motor, and we'd have more time to find a motor and
more
get
content.
that. Yeah. And maybe I'd pull the motor out and I'd have to send it to Speeds and let them work on it. And they bring it back and drop it off to us or whatever the case may be. We could do that if we had more constant, you know, just like here, this is a really cool bike. Even though it's a 98, there's plenty of parts available on JP Cycles and
Tech Specialties.
All D&K, all these different places. There's places you can get parts. There is guys that work on them. No, you can't take it to a dealer and get them to do anything to it because they're what's wrong with a dealer is when you get to an older bike is parts. And that's just like the vendors that we have. If you go down to Joey that does all about customs, he really doesn't do anything older than about a 2010, I think is what he cuts off, 2012 or something is where he cuts off at. Because the problem is if something breaks when he's working, dealers don't stock any of those parts. So now your bike's going to sit there until they can figure it out. And if they can't get it fixed before they leave, then what the hell they do with the bike? So that's
Neil was saying not to take the bike to Sturgis to give it away because if somebody's going to Sturgis, they probably already have a bike. That's why they're going. So then they have 2 bikes. How are they going to get the second bike home?
Not my problem. But I just thought it'd be good to put it on one of the stages. I don't know if it would be the Buffalo Chip that we could announce it and then maybe we get more bikes out of it. You know, I'm just looking at some way of
promoting this more than what
because what we're doing different from anybody else that's in the YouTube that I know of. We are actually a legal 501 organization. If you go to the bike, if you type in bikebuildsforvets.com, you can Google us and you will see all of our board of directors. You'll see everything that's going on. And we're all legit where you can go by October of this year. You will be able to go there and you'll actually know that, hey, they gave this bike away. They took in this much money. How much of that money actually went to fix that bike up, or what did they do with the money, or what did they do? That's all there. And you should do that anytime before you give a penny to any organization. You should Google them. Because we just talked to a guy. Oh, was it at this dealership here? Where's the guy that I was just talking to? I don't know if it was down at Teddy Morris's.
What were you saying to him?
About, he just left oh, no, it was in Red Rock Harley Davidson. They got a new salesman that just started last week. Mm-hmm. And he was telling me, I was telling him about 501c and all this. And he's like, I know all about that. He says, I just was working for a company for 1 week because I quit. He said the owner was taking out 98% of the money for his salary for this veteran organization that he was doing. And that's legal.
Yeah.
You just can't have any profit at the end. Well, we're not pulling any salaries out. The YouTube channel here is what's going to pay. We're hoping that most of the parts that we get will be free. That they'll want the advertising. Because like here, every time we talk about this bike, we're going to be talking about Red Rock Harley Davidson. On top of that, AMSOIL Adam. There you go. Can't talk tonight. AMSOIL Adam has just shipped us the oil and the filter and the oils to do all 3 and the filter. He's sending that. He's going to sponsor our oil changes for us. I'm going to do them, but he's going to send us the supplies to do that. So every time we talk about the bike, we will list all the people in the video and also at the end of the video that are sponsoring that video. That the bike builds. And so we're going to make money off of the videos too, which we're hoping this will bring in a new group of people to talk about different kinds of bikes that I'm working on. And how we do it or what we fix, or maybe somebody's got a part, maybe somebody's got a speedometer, odometer sitting at home for a 98 Fat Boy. It fits a lot of years.
And say, hey man, the Fat Boy I had, we changed mine out to a digital one. I don't think it was digital Dakota gauges, but it was a digital one. So he thinks somewhere he's got my old one to my old.
I'm not sure if the 2012 will fit on
a 98. So we have to check it out and see.
So, but I don't know what I ever did with it. I might have ended up throwing it away. I don't know. I have to look up on the shelves and see if I still got it.
I guess WV is West Virginia. I thought it said WY, Wyoming.
So that's kind of what's going on with that bike. And that's but one of the things, it's just like all these guys that are selling, oh, buy my $1,000 phone and I'll give you 5 bids. Well, that's not, it'd be better to say my Bucky's Cup. Pay $75 for my Bucky's Cup and you'll get 3 entries in to win this bike. And I'm going to give the money away to an organization. Well, you don't know what they're doing with that money. There's no way of you ever knowing anything what those people do with that money. Somebody did a video a while back on that. And that's one of the where we within a couple of weeks, that's when our 501 finally got going. Because why would you not? Actually, I just got done talking to Adam Sandoval this week at the dealership. Just for a few seconds. He was busy and he was doing stuff with the dealership and all that kind of stuff. But I kind of said we had gone to a 501 plan. He just kind of looked at me like, and I'm not saying anything bad about Adams. He's a nice guy. We get along with him just fine. But once again, what he does for the veterans is great. But he's making money off of what he does. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's no way of knowing the percentage of money. Now, I'm not saying he's dishonest. I'm saying he's probably does everything like he's supposed to do. But if he did a ride and collected $100,000 and wrote a check for $50,000 and said that's how much it collected, how would you know? You wouldn't know. You're trusting him that he's doing what he says he does. With us now, you'll be able to check us at the end of the year and you'll know exactly what we've done and you'll know exactly what we've done with the pennies. If it says total donation was 100%, you'll know that we were actually true to who we were. So that's what we're after. So that's the reason I did what we did, because we wanted to make it legal and we wanted to be upfront with everybody. Most of you that have been watching our channel know that I speak the way we do. We talk about it and we are who we are. If you're new, you may not know that, but when it comes to our vendors that we recommend and people like that, there's a couple, and I'm not going to badmouth any of the vendors here. If you're looking to do something and he's not one of our vendors, you should contact us. There are some really crappy vendors out here. There's people out here that I see the work come to another tent and I'm like, oh my gosh, you paid $5,000 for that? Oh my gosh. I said, you should take it back. Well, I'm fed up. I'm not going back to that guy ever again. Well, you should, because it ends up being a lot of times it's the people, may not be the guy that runs the business. He may have all good hearts to do stuff right. But when they get so busy and they got so many people working, or maybe they only got 2 guys working. Doesn't have to be somebody's got a dozen people. It could be somebody just has 2 people. Or it could be the guy that owns the truck or the trailer or the business is only at the counter. So he's not watching what his employees are doing. And that's what's sad. And Buddy Art, if he comes on, one of these days we're going to get him on the channel and keep telling me he needs to come out. I should call him. He wants to come out next weekend.
He might come on now that you mentioned his name.
Why is he here?
I think sometimes he just listens, and then once
I need to bring him on a live.
It's always weird. Every time you mention his name, he says, "Hey guys, how are you?"
He's retired. You need to come out here on a Sunday and stay for a couple of days. No big deal. I got no work for you to do, so you're not doing it coming out to work or anything. If you want to do something, you can. If you don't, you can just stand around and watch and see whatever we're doing. And but I would love for him to tell his story about this company. It was called Dragonfly. I think they're still around, but they don't do rallies anymore. They screwed him up and down. And this is like probably close to 20 years ago that he paid $1,500 for a fairing to put on his Heritage. And the paint peeled off of it. The wiring was all screwed up. And the guy basically finally found the guy. And he told us to come by and talk to him. He had an office in California. He's moved about 10 times since that. He basically flipped us off and told us to go F ourselves. And we're like, and he told us to get the hell out of his shop. So
thanks, Mark. So Jeff asked another question before. He says, you didn't answer my question again. The bike's not staying in Florida forever and ever. We had it shipped down there to Orlando or Daytona, and now it's staying at a subscriber's house in Kissimmee. And then we're going to pick it up for Leesburg Rally. We're going to ride the bike from Leesburg to Panama City and ride the bike from Panama City to Myrtle Beach. And then when Myrtle Beach is over, Hall Bikes is going to pick it up, and then they're going to ship it to Sturgis. And then we're going to take the trailer up to Sturgis. So then we'll bring the bike home with us. So that's the plan for the bike.
Yeah. So it's not original. It's not good. I wish we could afford that. I wish I could afford enough bikes that we could leave them different places and fly into that. Because we got enough subscribers that all say, yeah, well, no problem. You can leave a bike here all year round. But that's also hard on a bike too, that you're only coming out and riding it for a couple of weeks and then it sits for a year.
Yeah.
So that's an issue. Here it's only going to sit about a month and then we're going to be back down there and it's going to be pretty much, there's a possibility because she doesn't want me to ride by myself. So we're going to talk to a couple of vendors and see if they want to haul my bike to Myrtle Beach. If they can't, then I'm riding it. It's not the end of the world. She'd like to find somebody that wants to ride with me, but we're getting there a couple of days before. So the rally, I think Monday of after Panama City is when I'm heading that way. And I figured 2 days to get there. I figured about 300 miles each day and maybe 400 the first day, maybe only 200 the next day. I don't know. But I figured 2 days. And
you'll be able to follow your GPS to get there?
I hope so. You got new stuff on there now. On my dashboard. My new radio works really good. I still haven't played with it much, but it's working all right. So that's all about the bike, and so a little bit about that, about Leesburg.
So some people saying they've already had 4 commercials. I've only had one on mine that's up. So I don't know why there's been so many. That's what
hopefully they'll give me some money.
Billy from Crap on a Cracker, he said, geez, I think there's more on this than there is on one of your normal videos.
Well, how long have we been on?
Let me see here. Almost an hour.
Well, that's why. So you're really not doing bad. For an hour-long video, if you've only had 4 commercials come up, that's really not that bad. That's one every 15 minutes, right? Yeah, one every 15 minutes.
And Jeffy says that's why he's got YouTube Premium.
That's right. If you buy that YouTube Premium, you don't have any commercials, and we get paid for that too. So they pay us. It shows your percentage of people that have that. And so we get, like, if he stays on the whole time, I'll probably make a couple dollars off of him, and it didn't cost him anything to watch it.
Well,
where everybody else
clicks for the Prime.
Well, but he's paying for, but he's watching other stuff too on YouTube.
Not
probably.
Just us.
Yeah. So it really pays off, but not everybody wants to pay a subscription to YouTube because now YouTube's getting to be like everything else. They're wanting to sell you TV channels and all that. And we don't have that. You don't get that with a YouTube channel. You have to pay for all that. Nothing's free anymore.
No.
So we do have the marine bike that we're giving away. We've kind of changed the rules a little bit on that because a lot of people were getting really confused about how to do it, that you had to go to the Bike Vet's website to do it. And it's not a vet. Because I had one guy, I finally had to ban the guy because he just kept going on and on and on that you're screwing vets and you should be giving this bike away. First of all, we're not giving anything away. It's not our bike. What it is the Cat House, which is renting Ozark Thunder Campground in Berryville, Arkansas during the Spring Fling and also during Bikes, Booze, and Barbecue. He bought the bike. He's got the bike. We don't have it. We probably won't see it unless it comes to Camp Pendleton. Right now, I don't have anybody from Camp Pendleton. We have a guy that's from North Carolina. What's the other 2 that you talked to?
I don't know exactly where they are.
In. So probably it's not going to come to us. Now, if you know a Marine, you can send them that. And all they have to do is write us an email through the Bob and Tams. Now I'm making it simple for them. Just give me some info on it and all this. And we'll see what happens. But we're going to end up probably drawing the name. We were going to put it up on YouTube and on our Facebook page and let people vote on it. But once again, it was the Bob and Tams, or it's the Bike Builds for Vets. And I'm not confused. I think we're going to read the letters and we're just going to pick somebody out of these letters. Right now, we don't even have a half a dozen yet come through. So we don't have very many choices to pick. One guy, I think, wrote it. I think he thinks it's a brand new bike, and it's not. It's a 2003 Softail. Another guy this guy I was just talking about, his letter from North Carolina, is a guy that's got a couple kids, or maybe one kid and a wife. And he's been in the service for a while. He's been a whole bunch of places, and he had to sell his bike because of his kids having a kid and a wife. He had to help support them. That if he could get a free bike, then he would love to have a bike again. And he's been in a bunch of different places. He's been overseas and all kinds of stuff. He's going to be a career. He's going to be in for 20 years. And I like that. It was a really good story. And he's in North Carolina, so it's not that far from Florida for them to take it to them and drop it off to him. So I don't know if he's going to be the winner. I'm just saying that's one that I read. There's been a couple other ones come through, but one of the first ones I got, the guy seemed more like the way I read the letter, which I was going to send it back to him before we make a decision, that this is not a new bike, because he had said he had like a 2012 or 2013 bike that he sold last. Well, why would you want to go back to a 2003 if you had a 2013 bike. So I'm thinking he's thinking we're giving away a brand new bike. He might not watch the whole video. And some people do that. They don't watch everything to see. That's why this video I did on the Marine, it's only 3 or 4 minutes long. We wanted to make it quick and short and explain exactly what it is. And here it is. So if you have anybody that's a Marine that you know in the United States that would like to get a free bike, there it is. We also have access for veterans and stuff that we can get you free training if you win one of our bikes. Through the organization. What's that organization called? The bike training you how to ride.
It's MFS, SFF, Safety First, Motorcycle Safety First.
Whatever it is, they are.
MSF.
There's over 2,000 of them. Pretty much, if you get your training at a dealership, it's through this group. They endorse it or whatever. I don't know if they have to pay to get into it. I don't know. But they have a bunch. When we talk to them at the AIM show, the guy's like, sure, I got all these grants that we've never given away. We would love to work with you guys and do this. So we're like, oh, give us your name and number and we'll work this out. So that'd be kind of cool. Especially if somebody didn't own a bike.
Or has never had a motorcycle endorsement.
And so that would be really cool because it grows the community. You know, we need to do that. The video.
Get more people on bikes.
Yeah. And video we're going to put out tomorrow. It's on Northern Tools, and they did for these girls, and it's kind of the same thing there. Maybe not a lot of people are going to watch this video, but these are the kind of videos you need to watch and you need to support, because just like the Strider bikes that we do the bike build breakfast for, they've given those bicycles, those little wooden bicycles, to kindergartners in school, and they ride them during recess or whatever. They give them a time PE class or whatever. They ride these bikes, and it's getting them on bicycles. Because, and just like these girls, they're teaching these girls actually are out of a welding class. What you need to watch this video just to see. I was just shocked when I talked to these girls. Some of these girls probably don't even weigh 60 pounds, and they're welders. And I'm like, holy crap. And some of the stuff that they had, these two cars that they built. And I'm like, holy crap, these girls are really good. Some of them never rode a motorcycle. Some of them have been riding forever. One of the girls, I think, said she'd been riding since she was 4 years old. She had a motorcycle. And a couple of them had ATVs and stuff like that they ride. A couple of them were interested in getting motorcycles, but they really like coming to this. And we had Billy Lane talking to the girls, and I got that. And we got Jody Perowitz, and she was there.
Marilyn Stemp. Shelly Rossmeyer.
And the other girl, I can't remember what her name was, the black girl. She was a motorcycle racer.
And was a car racer.
No, I think she races motorcycles. I looked her up because I got her name. And she's also a truck driver. So she's a truck driver full time, but she does motorcycle racing because with the truck driving job, she can take days off when she needs to. I don't know if she drives local. I don't know what she does. But she's a very nice girl.
Well, she went to school. I overheard her with another conversation. She had went to school to do something else and paid for college and everything. And then when she got out, she really her passion is to race. And so when she couldn't, they're like, oh no, you're starting out. So you're starting out at the very bottom. You got to do what we say, when we say, how we say. And she's like, well, I can't do that in this. And so I guess she had some family members that were truck drivers, and they said, hey, if you drive a truck, you can take off and work whenever you want. So she can work all week and then be off for the weekends to do her racing. So she says, I'm going to be a truck driver.
So this is a thing that Northern Tools does. They bring in the girls on a bus. There was about 30 or 40 girls there.
I think it was 30, they said.
And they gave them lunch. They had a little taco lunch and stuff there. You see that in the video. Somebody gave us a super chat.
Jeffy.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate that. And
it's usually a couple weeks before the Hills Are Alive. I can ask a friend. She goes out every year.
To what?
The Hills Are Alive in Rapid City. It's like a Christian group together. Carter and Sandy have invited us a couple different times. It's right there at that big park, right off the highway.
Oh, not that thing that they had last year that they had out in Spearfish or whatever. They brought all those kids too.
No, that was something else, I think. But yeah, so I think it's probably 2 weeks before Sturgis. So it's probably like mid-July. If I had to guess, that's what I'd say. Google it. Sorry, that's what I would do if I had to ask you the exact dates.
That's what people always wonder. I see it all on YouTube too, and I think some people do that, or on Facebook. They do it intentionally. When is the Sturgis rally? And I think they do that because they want all the morons to write on there and go, "Are you that stupid? You got to look it up." You know,
trying to stir the pot.
I do write the date down. Hey, it's the 1st through the
10th,
whatever, and I write it down.
10 days, 10-day rally.
But probably they don't even want to know. They're just stirring the pot. It's the same thing with these people saying, "I can't believe people are using trailers to come into the rally." And it's like, nowadays, the way rallies are downgrading and there's less people at it, there was no 500,000 people came to Daytona. After looking at this week as the week went on, I'm saying they're lucky to be 60,000 bikes there. There might have been double from last year, maybe. I said there was about 30,000 last year, about 60. There's no 500,000 people coming there. You can't even fill all the hotels. If you took all the hotels in Orlando and Daytona, and there still isn't enough place for everybody to stay. So, no, I don't buy any of that. And they do that because, one, this company charged Daytona. They ping people again. They did see what I think what they do, honestly, which you don't know because they don't tell you. I think they look like at Destination Daytona. Or they look at Main Street and they zoom on that and they count those people. Then they take the square footage that they have of the event area and they calculate it. And that's how they say how many people's there. So if you counted it on that first Saturday, yes, there was a lot of people. But if there was 100,000 motorcycles riding up and down the one, you wouldn't be able to move. You wouldn't. It would be lined up from the dealership all the way to Main Street with 100,000 motorcycles. They're not there. And so they make up all these numbers, but they charge the city, I think, $28,000 to come up with the numbers for them for this year. So if they actually came up with numbers saying that there was only like 60,000 people or 50,000 or 100,000, whatever there actually was, then they would say, well, then we don't need you to count. We're not going to pay you $28,000 if that's all the people you can figure out that's here. But if we give you these outrageous numbers, we're going to pay them again next year because they want to hear that 500,000 because we can say, oh, we're the biggest motorcycle rally. We're bigger than Sturgis. We're this and that. No, they're not.
I couldn't tell you how many people this year I've heard say that Daytona is the biggest motorcycle rally in I don't know, the world, the United States. I don't know. But over and over,
I think what they look at is Daytona has more people living in it than Sturgis has. Okay. So I don't know if that's where they come up with the numbers at. I don't believe Daytona ever had more people than Sturgis at any one given time, no matter what anybody says, because there's not enough to bring people there. The only reason we were busier this year than last year is because all you find people that live along the East Coast and up in Canada and stuff like that, you got some really freaking crappy weather this year. It snowed, it was ice.
You guys came on down,
and you
thought it was going to be warmer.
It was below zero in a lot of places. And heck yeah, I would get the hell out and come down to Daytona too even for 70-degree weather would be what you did. We've seen people running around in shorts. We've seen people riding with tank tops.
And it was never 70 degrees.
Yeah, but we had that one day before it rained was 84.
For a minute.
All morning. It was high humidity too. But it was in the 70s several days during the day. It was in the 70s. In the morning, we were 50s and 60s in the morning.
Another question for you. HD Chief Fan says, what about Myrtle Beach? They've not been good hosts over the years.
Okay. Yes, Myrtle Beach doesn't want bikers there. Well, let's back up a little bit more. You can remind me, I go back to Myrtle Beach. You know what Daytona did about 6 weeks before the rally? They had a city meeting. They're wanting to take the little convention center, which is about a quarter, not even that. It's probably 2 or 3 blocks down from Main Street. They want to put vendors there. After we chased them all away 8 years ago off of Beach Street, now we need more vendors because they finally starting to figure out we spend a lot of money. And so Daytona doesn't, or Myrtle Beach doesn't see that, because what's the difference between Daytona and Myrtle Beach is Daytona is dead. There is nothing freaking going on in Daytona. Right now, there's very few spring breakers there. They don't go there. They're going to go down to Miami or Fort Lauderdale, the cheap ones. Over Orlando, more people are going to Orlando now for spring break than anybody coming to Daytona. Well, that's the problem with Daytona. It's just dead. You go down there about 2-3 weeks before the rally, and the only people on the sidewalks is bums. And that's the life. And then people know it. And it's bad neighborhoods down there. It's just a lot of trouble. You go to Myrtle Beach, and that whole strip along Myrtle Beach, I don't know what that stupid road is. That used to be the main road that they had vendors and stuff on in Myrtle Beach. That is all full of hotels, and their parking lots during bike week are full. And it's not because of bikers. It's because it's a vacation area. People like to go to Myrtle Beach. Okay, so that's the difference there with Myrtle Beach. So they look at it as we don't need motorcycles. We don't need the loud bikes. They're not allowed to come in our parking garages. They're forbidden. If you go to a campground, you got to park it out on the street or in a gravel lot that's out away from everybody because they don't want to hear your motorcycle coming through town. The only thing that's going on for our Myrtle Beach is Murrells Inlet. It is probably I would say it's probably the ultimate party place of all rallies because you got the suck bang blow and it's just anything goes at suck bang blow, anything. You got the Beaver Bar that's right down the street. You got a couple other cool restaurants and stuff along there. There's a lot of great places along the Murrells Inlet to eat at. It's just a really cool area. And that's where most people designate at. Now, this year we are getting back to
Barefoot Landing.
Yeah, Barefoot Landing's coming back, but they're going to be more over in the House of Blues parking lot. So some of the vendors are coming back there. Dealership, the guy that was kind of running the dealership, he died. So I don't know if it's going to get any better or not.
A lot of people didn't like.
Yeah, and the guy
wasn't the dealership. It wasn't the owner, the GM. It was the guy that ran the lot.
Yeah,
they said
he was just a bud. I seen him yelling at people, the vendors and stuff. And it's like, if it had been me, I'd said, which is, the Fair Exchange told him that. Get out, they went and they never came back. And so I think that Rick Rack's there. And then really that's the only, out of all the vendors there, Rick Rack's probably the only one holding that dealership together.
KST's there.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not as busy as Rick Rack is. Rick Rack is just packed in there and he's always got work to do. And if they left from there and we went someplace else, I think the dealership would just, they'd give up because they wouldn't be doing anything during bike week.
It's all up and day.
And then the other dealer at the other end of town is where they have all the bikes. If you want to buy a bike or something, look at them. They got a lot of bikes up there at the North Myrtle. And there's a lot of cool places to ride around Myrtle too. There's no great riding, but there's a lot of good food. Some great chicken places to eat at, some great breakfast places. We like Mammy's. We will probably eat there a couple of times.
What we haven't eaten at the last couple of years is the Maryland's chicken there because they've got the best hush puppies.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so good. Hey, Bob and Tam, that guy that lives, the owner of the candy store. I'm guessing the gumballs in the jar contest. There's no way 200 gumballs were in that jar. I know you can never guess. That's the same thing. So, not Art, Neil. The Hills Are Alive 2025 in Rapid City is July 19th through 20th. And Bruce, I'm hoping they're going to have fireworks at Mount Rushmore this year. And we're not sick. Because one 4th of July, we were there and we were sick. But yeah, so President Trump is in office, but Kristi Noem is not. So,
but the lieutenant that took over, the lieutenant governor, he took over, and we met him last year, and he was a really cool guy. So I think he's probably just the same as Kristi, but not female.
Yeah, and push for it. So we should start writing now, because I want to make sure. Because I would love to see 4th of July fireworks at Mount Rushmore.
And they do a lot of people shoot fireworks out there. But so that's kind of that idea with Myrtle Beach. So that's my thoughts on Myrtle Beach. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing in Daytona now. If you look at any Daytona pages, everybody's whining about the cops. Once again, in Florida, the local police departments get less than 5% off the ticket. The rest of the money, the state takes the money. So they're not putting money in their pocket. They're not making a lot of money. The city's not making a lot of money. The courts, yes, the courts, if you're paying the court costs and stuff like that, that little bit that you pay on that will go to the county, or the city. But almost, I'll bet money there isn't anybody that got a ticket that didn't deserve a ticket. And most of the people are saying the same thing on when I look at Facebook like that. If you're going down Main Street and you're revving your bike up and all that, and these cops just don't say, pull over, I'm giving you a ticket now. No, they'll tell you, stop that. Don't do it again. And then
on Main Street.
Well, the Main Street, the problem I have with Main Street is who are all the stupid moron people that drive down, turn around, come back, up and down, up and down, up. We don't want to see your stupid, ugly bike more than once. I've seen you drive by. Now, if you stopped at a bar and you have a drink or you have lunch and you turn around, you go back the other way, I'm okay with that. And when we've done that. But I don't go up Main Street, turn around, come back, and go up and down. And some of these people, we see them over and over, attention getters. I have now determined this year what is wrong with Daytona. I've never seen any rally anywhere in the United States that have so many people that have ego problems that they have to show off all the time. And that's the problem. People want to smoked your tire down Main Street. Well, just think of that going down Main Street. And let's say you're smoking your tire and all of a sudden it gets some traction and you plow in and kill 10 people. You're going to go to prison for the rest of your freaking life and you deserve it. You deserve the death sentence if you did something stupid like that. I mean, it's just people do stupid stuff. Now, just like us, we were at the Burger King and two guys pulled in with motorcycles and were doing burnouts in their parking lot. And what we all look at is 90% of us are saying the same thing. What does this stupid moron think he's doing? We can all do that with our bike. We can rev our bikes up just as loud as he's got his bike running. We can pull a wheelie just like he does. It can be done on any bike. So what are you getting out of it other than showing off? And 99% of us, I'm probably going to say about 100% of us, all think you're stupid for doing it. And when we're looking at you, we're laughing at you. We're not saying, yeah. Now, if you go to a burnout pit, which I think part of the problem with Daytona, they don't have any place to do burnouts. They're outside of town there is, but not anywhere. And the main, the
Iron Horse used
to got rid of theirs a couple years ago, and they're not getting it back. So there's no place to really do that. And it could be because of insurance and liability. But I mean, yeah, you go to some of the places, like you go to the Iron Horse in Sturgis, or you go to in Myrtle Beach, it's suck, bang, blow. They got the whole thing. It's all in plexiglass and people are screaming and they're yelling for that because you're doing it in a confined, controlled area. You're not out there where you're just relying on your front brake to hold you while you're doing your burnout. And so
George says he thinks they count that one person that rides up and down Main Street 50 times.
Could very well be. But I mean, that's what I don't spend a lot of time on Main Street. There was some girl I seen. Cycle Drag made fun of the girl, which wasn't nice, but I mean, she had a mask on and stuff, she was a black girl, big old booty. She got off her motorcycle a bunch of times. It almost seems like he was chasing her down because he must have a dozen videos I've seen pop up shorts of her doing it. And he also made fun of her. And I didn't really want to call his name out, but I mean, he's had some videos come out this rally that I think are very tasteless. Tasteless is what I want to say.
Yeah.
That we got confronted by Daytona last year by one of the barmaids that said she would want to talk to us because there was a YouTuber that was making fun of people. I found those videos this year because he did that. He said, look at the crazy, stupid stuff people wear. Show girls with, low cut shirts and half shirts on and all this. And he was making fun of them. And then people that were oversized, they were big girls or big guys or fat people or whatever the case was, and making fun of them. And it's like,
and it's fun to go people watch because everybody's different, everybody's unique, and that's one of the things we used to like to do. Go up to Venice Beach, and there's some different, unique people there up there. So it's okay to go and do that, but don't point them out and make.
Well, don't
fun
put them
of
on a YouTube channel and make fun of them. I said that's how it hurts us as YouTubers. To where when we want to go to film that girl or talk to that girl, she's gonna go, no, because that guy made fun of me, made me, because what he was doing is this girl was shaking her butt. And that's what she specialized in. She was like twerking, I guess is what it was. And she's big. And he kept showing like people that were standing there looking at her and they were going, I had all these faces. So he didn't say anything.
But he made it look bad.
Yes. And that's not right. That's just not right to do that for views. And yeah, he's making money off of those videos. He got 60, 70,000 views off of those videos. But it's cheap shots like that ruin the industry of what we do.
So Daryl says, wants to know if we're going to go up to what used to be known as Beach House, Harley Davidson in North Carolina, which has been now bought out, and now it's called Seabreeze.
I have to find out who. At this moment, I don't think so.
That's where we get all of our good T-shirt deals every year.
But I don't know. You have to see who owns it.
I know they may not do that.
See if the Veraccans bought them out. What's the name of it?
It's called Seabreeze, he said now.
Who owns Seabreeze Harley Davidson?
In North Carolina.
The Cole family.
All right.
New owners.
There you go.
Don't know who they are. They own them in South Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia. They bought it in October 31st. Don't know. We have gotten some good deals, but I don't know if they're still good. Well, they had it in 24, so they would have had it last year when we were there. Did we go up there last year?
Yeah, Stephen drove. We drove his car, remember? Because it was supposed to rain that day, and it really didn't end up raining.
So we did go. So yeah, they must have been the same people. So they must have had the same deals then what they had. So, but I know Cal's not going to be there. He said he doesn't do it there anymore. They've just, for their vendors that they've had, it's just really gone downhill. I seen that last year, which we didn't go. We haven't gone every year. First year we went up there a couple of times. In 2021, we went there for the spring and the fall, and probably for the spring the next year.
I think Wide Open Customs was up there. Was why we went that 2 times, and then Cal was always up there, and then we went to get the shirts. But don't forget to wear your helmet because it's a helmet state.
Yeah, North Carolina.
North Carolina is. South Carolina is not. So as soon as you get over across that line, you may get a ticket.
So that's a couple of things we want to talk about. What else we have going on is we're in negotiations right now for Biketoberfest in Daytona. We may be coming back. We're waiting now in the next week or so. Hopefully we'll find that out for sure because we need to get tickets and all that kind of stuff set up. And we're working with the group that's actually putting it on. And we're also working with Teddy Morris and see if we can get something worked out to where we'll be there maybe for the weekend before where they do the Trike Fest, 3-wheel rally that they're starting to get it going, and then do the 4 days of Biketoberfest and then maybe stay 1 or 2 days after that. So we're still negotiating all that to see if that's going to happen, but we may be adding that one to our list for this year. So that was the other thing we were going to kind of let you know what's going on. And a lot of you, Neil asked the other day, which maybe it was this morning I answered it, that he wanted to know what the big surprise was. Well, the big surprise was that we got that veteran bike to give away. That was the surprise that we had, that we made the video on. Because I wanted, once we said we had it, I wanted to put something out because we didn't have nothing to put out that day. So I wanted to put something out until we got time to actually do a video on the motorcycle. So
we put it on the Facebook page too. Big announcement coming, upcoming big
announcement. That's what that was all about. It was about our first vet bike that we got, and we're ready to start fixing that up and giving it away.
Thank you out to Red Rock Harley for that first bike.
Yep. And I already had a couple of people say that when they go to town there to Vegas, they're going to make a special trip out there just to thank them. Buy a T-shirt or something. Spend some money with them. Yeah. They got some good bikes. They got some really good deals on bikes. A lot cheaper than the one we were at just this last weekend. Same owners, but they have, each dealership runs on its own. It's kind of like Teddy Morris is like that. Each one of his dealerships, the GM runs the way they want. It's not like the Veracans that own all theirs. They're all the same. But this one, which is very interesting because you can, you can go to one dealer and like them, and you go to another dealer and they're totally different. Their labor rates different, everything, we got different people, and it's might be someplace you'd like to deal with, where the other one you may not like to deal with.
It just depends. You might get along with one of the salesmen better than the one that you just left. Yeah. So you never know.
Well, I always look for dealerships that aren't pushy. And that's what the ones that the Veracans, they own a bunch of dealerships, and we got screwed by them years ago. Now maybe we'll do a video and put it on Patreon. But they're very high pressure, and they can't even keep employees because they people go through there like they're changing their underwear because you can't screw people your whole life and then still if you got a conscience, you can't keep doing that. So there's what's going on with that. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, because I probably won't do a video on it. A lot of people are looking at this brand new motorcycle coming out from Harley Davidson, the CVO-RR, $110,000. Okay. Red Rock Harley Davidson is getting one in
June.
It's already sold. We just called Black Hills Harley Davidson, and he's got how many people?
He said he's got a waiting list.
At least 4 people on the list to buy it. So when a lot of people say, "Well, that's too much money, that's crazy
Nobody's going to buy it."
Don't say never. I'll bet
never
you
say
all.
Never.
See, the first set of bikes only go to the dealers that are the top dealers in the United States. So unless they really jack the prices up on them, which I think, not saying they wouldn't. The Veracans are probably going to get one in the Riverside store, and they'll probably want $150,000 for it. And somebody in California will probably pay $150,000 for it. But I'm assuming probably Red Rock and probably Black Hills Harley will probably sell it for the 110. I don't know what the warranty and stuff will cost if you want an extended warranty on that fine bike or not. But it'd be neat. I think we're gonna try to ride one soon. I don't know when, but we'll see how that all works. So we'll see. I was hoping one of the dealerships would say that they were going to keep it for themselves, and then I'd have an opportunity to ride it. So I don't know. I missed out on them, which is Harley Davidson. Even the dealer says they don't always keep up. They had a big thing here in Vegas last year that they had a whole bunch of new models came out, and they invited a bunch of YouTubers at, and our biggest dealer, Red Rock, didn't even know about it. And then nobody contacted
Nelson
us.
Said that they are all already sold.
I don't know. I don't know if you could say every dealer. So the way it's Well, some of them you don't know where they can't be sold yet because there's so many that's going to the number one dealers. They get them first, and then the other bikes are going to go through a raffle. So they have to go through a lottery system to give them to those other dealers that would want one. Some small dealers may say, I don't want nothing to do with that bike. I have enough trouble selling $40,000 bikes. I can't sell a $110,000 bike. So probably my thought would be probably you're right. If it's the dealers that are the number one dealers that are getting the bikes, the first, I don't know if it's 30 or 50. I forget what the number was that they told us. That those are probably, you're right. They're probably already sold. But the lottery number ones, you don't know where they're going yet because they haven't done the lottery. They're going to give out the first set of bikes and then Harley will do the lottery. That's what we were told by Harley Davidson. So that's my thought. But yeah, I would say if you wanted to buy one, it would be pretty hard. I imagine probably this year, because we're already halfway through the year. New models are going to come out here in August already. So we're already halfway through the year. So they're expecting these bikes to be delivered. They're talking June-ish. So we should be up in Black Hills Harley when that one shows up. So we can check that out and talk about it and show it. And maybe we can find out who's going to buy it and talk to them. And that'd be kind of cool to have. If not, we can get the one here in Red Rock. If it comes before June, if we're still here before we leave, they get theirs in. And so that would be kind of cool. But I'm thinking when we go into next year, so we ended up talking to the racers, which I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put that video up because I should have put a microphone up there and I didn't do it. I didn't know if they were going to crab, and then nobody crabbed the whole time I had the camera up. But it was the racers. You had the day to meet the racers. We had lunch with them with about 30 or 40 other people. And that bike was designed by them.
And the racers.
First time probably in a long time that Harley Davidson actually took the input of somebody versus a bunch of, nothing wrong with engineers, but I dealt with engineers. They love to see everything on paper, but they don't know crap about nothing else. A lot of these engineers may not even ride a motorcycle, and they're making these major decisions on what they're going to do. So that's what I think has made this bike so unique, is that it's laid out like the bikes at the Bagger series. They're very similar to that. The suspension in the front and a lot of the stuff that they've done on there is in that level.
Another cool thing that they have is their pit crew are the engineers and the developers that made the bike. Is who their pit crew is. So they know every in and out of that bike. So I thought that was kind of cool too. Skippy's on.
Yeah. Skippy. And so it's I think that's why this bike is so popular. And yes, but I don't know what they're going to do, because that's one of the things that we're hearing from those racers. Probably next year's bikes, all the performance bikes are probably going to have Orland shocks on them now, because it looks like they're going to go from the Legends and move over to the Orlands now. And which Joey's not real happy about, because he says I can't sell them if they already got them on the bike. And so I don't know if they're going to put the Orlands in the front too. I just know the back is what they were talking. The racers were saying that. And so they were saying a lot of cool stuff, but I just don't, when I listened to a little bit of the audio, it was really echoey, and I don't know if I can fix it or not. If I can, we'll show it. If not, you just won't get to see. I'll listen to it and we'll talk about it on another video about what they said, and maybe show them while we're talking about them. So that was kind of cool. It was really another thing we did that day. We had to be there from noon. That was day it rained. So it was Wednesday. We were there from noon till like 2 or 3 when it quit raining. And we did the flat track racing. We were there for 2 nights doing the flat track. And so that's on there. That's more time that we spend away from showing you what's going on. So let's see. Did I cover everything that I wanted to talk about? Anything else I wanted
Should have wrote it down. Evan Mike's on. We got to see them at least once. Yeah. That's where we went to New Smyrna Beach.
Yep. That was cool. I liked that town. I'd never been there, and never realized they had that peninsula that went out there.
Get a trike, cool. Jeff, and put your son on the back. Strap him in. Yeah. I'm sure he'll love it.
Yeah. Or get him get one with a sidecar.
Oh yeah. Sidecars are pretty cool.
Last year, Harley Davidson, Black Hills Harley had brand new bikes with sidecars on them. They had about 4 of them. They sold them all during the rally. So
you look better going slow.
And so pretty cool. Just got a lot of things getting ready. Like I said, we're doing Arizona Bike Week. We're taking the trailer to Arizona Bike Week. Right now, at this moment, looks like we're only going to have our Sportster, waiting for the handlebar to come in. Hopefully Monday they'll call and say it got shipped. If it don't get shipped soon, it ain't going to get put on it. That ain't going to be fun, because I don't know. I don't know if I can try to adjust it or something. I don't know.
Well, if you just pull them back a little, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see.
And so they were only going to have her bike. There's not a dealer close enough that we have a connection with that we could probably get a loaner bike. And I really don't want to drag one from here up there. Just the liability of putting in the trailer and stuff.
If it would happen to fall over or anything.
Something would happen to it. So we'll probably just be on her little sports shirts, zipping around, doing some stuff. And hopefully the weather will be good. I have an extra rain suit, but somebody doesn't have an extra rain suit.
I was just going to bring my raincoat. No, I've got a raincoat.
And so we're limited on the quality. We have different helmets that we're going to have to wear, some backup helmets we have here. Because we left a lot of our gear on the motorcycle down there. Because when we go down the next 3 rallies, we have no place but a suitcase. So I do have the rickrack bag. They're loaning that to us. And we'll talk about that on the trip.
And we left a lot of our clothes down there too. So our socks clothes, and underwear, shirts.
Helmets, my boots are down there.
Our extra pair of jeans. So we'll be wearing jeans. The boots are down there. And then we'll just have our tennis shoes on. So yeah, because it's going to be hard to get around.
We have an old suitcase that we could take along. And
I just know where you're going to put all your camera stuff.
I told you I'm just going to carry that little bag. What fits in that bag's all I'm bringing.
Right.
That's it. It's ain't going to have room. I'm not going to bring. We should have brought the tripod home. I'm not going to use that. I'm not taking the big camera because we don't really do big interviews anyway. So taking your camera.
Well, Leesburg, you do that guy, but I mean the chief.
Yeah, well, you can still hold the camera up and put a lapel mic on him.
Yeah.
So we'll get by. We'll bring a lot less equipment. But my only problem is we have to bring 2 computers because one computer we have an app. We have the Apple computer that I edit on, which is what this is here you're watching. And then I've also got a PC that we pay all our bills and stuff on. Since we're running over the months, I have to take that one along to pay all of our bills. I don't like this computer. I really don't do anything other than edit with it. I do get on the internet to get pictures or get emails or whatever is being sent to me. I get off of here, but I don't download any extra apps or anything like that because I just don't want viruses or anything going in it. And so there's that. And so, yeah. So I got to carry 2 computers, and then she's going to leave early from Myrtle Beach. So I'm going to be there most of the rally by myself. We're staying with Steven.
April 22nd, Deb, is when we get into Orlando. So I don't know when you guys are going to, because they're the ones that are going to stay at Thousand Trails too.
Oh, okay. We're there from that Tuesday to Tuesday.
Yeah,
Tuesday
the 22nd to the 29th.
Yeah.
You're going to say how many your countdown. If you go up, there's more after that.
All right. So she's put this on her phone to keep track of the events. So Arizona Bike Week. I'm surprised you didn't have a heart attack when you looked at that.
I know.
17 days away.
I got to do some. Tomorrow I'll be working on the trailer.
Leesburg is actually 39 days away. Thunder Beach Rally in Panama City Beach is 45 days away. Myrtle Beach is 54 days away. Hang on to your shorts. Sturgis is 138 days from opening day of August 1st. 138 days. Ocean City is 178 days. That's our next one we'll do. Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue will be there for their big event. It's $199. $199. 199 days. And what's the 1-year anniversary?
That's my thing. That's nothing to do with bike rallies. So XM Bikers on. And yes, Rick, our bike is still in Florida. So we're going to have it for Leesburg, Panama City, Myrtle Beach. And then Hall Bikes is going to pick it up in Myrtle Beach, ship it to Sturgis. We're going to pick it up in Sturgis, and then we'll bring it home because we'll have a trailer up in Sturgis. So,
and that'll be the cycle for my bike for this year.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. Wait, I didn't buy a new tire. Did anybody else buy a new tire? Holy son of a buck. They're not cheap.
Not cheap.
It was about $356 for the Dunlop, the Americade or whatever it's called.
American. Riding on 3.
And it was $110 to put it on. I know that tire was only about $260 last time I bought one 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
So it's jumped over $100 in a year. And now which I don't know where mine was made at. It probably was still an American-made tire because now they're going to make them in Taiwan or wherever the hell they're making them at. Dunlop is. So yeah, tires have gone up quite a bit from last year. And it's got nothing to do with tariffs because they've had all these tires in stock before the tariffs ever came in. So it had nothing to do with that.
$29 back.
So yeah, that was crazy, crazy, crazy. So if anybody else bought a tire in Daytona or planning on getting a tire, you might do some checking. But I mean, probably everybody's going to be about the same price as what you're paying.
Save your pennies if you think you're going to be needing.
I wasn't planning on it, but there was a cut in my tire. If you watch the video, I kind of showed it. It was at Amsoil Adam, and luckily I took it in there for an oil change and seen it. Well, actually, none of us seen it because the new tire was put on 2 years ago, and I thought, I asked the guy, actually one of our subscribers actually worked on my bike, and we looked at the front tire, and he says, "Yeah, it looks good. I don't see any problems with that." And then another guy walked up and said, "Wow, did you see this cut in this guy's tire?" And I'm like, "Holy sucker!" It was about that big, and it looks like it didn't look like dry rot, which is more or less looked like I ran over something and it cut the tire. It wasn't leaking, but there's no chance, especially with these next 3 rallies like this. I wouldn't want to have to buy it from the dealership. They'd probably charge a lot more than what JP Cycles sold them to me for. So something else to think about. Always look at your tires. I aired them all up, but I didn't look at. I looked at the tread, but I mean, I didn't look. Typically, last time when it was dry rotted 2 years ago, there was cuts all over the sides and stuff from it dry rot. So you should check your tires all out before you go. If not, take it to some place they can put it up on a lift and spin the tire and look at it real good. I'd fill them all up with air and top them all off, but I didn't look at them I just wasn't expecting that. I didn't put it up and spin them. So you never know. All things you should check before you hit the road.
Riding on 3 in Tennessee says that's why the dealership isn't happy with him, because he keeps his end of the deal up for his lifetime tires.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And
it's a good thing to have.
Not saying I would do this, but I mean, sometimes when I get a bolt in there, I just kind of wallow that bolt hole out a little more when I had the tire warranty on it. And I got 2 tires on that same bike. I guess I did get some warranty work on. I got the tire. I ran over a bolt one time and made it a little bigger, and they couldn't fix it, so they gave me a new tire. And the next time, same thing, and got a new tire. And the warranty's over now. It was over several years ago.
Never take a chance with tires, but that's just me. Yeah,
especially when you're riding a motorcycle. It's not like a car where you got 4 tires, but here you got 1 tire. We were just talking to somebody the other day that said they had a tire that blew out. He did really, really good slowing it down there to about 80 or 90 miles an hour. They got it bike all slowed down. Once he got to the side of the road, then it flipped him and threw him off of it, tore him all up. I guess that was down in Daytona.
Yep, hurt his back.
Willie told us that story.
Yep, it was a guy. Willie had that accident, almost killed him. Still banged up from it. And he still rides 90 miles an hour. He says, "Yeah, we were doing like 90 miles an hour, and his tire blew, and he kept it up."
That's the problem with riding with those clubs. Willie's not in a club, but riding in a club, they like to ride fast. Fast. So
our front tire went out on us one time. Yeah, that was not fun.
Yeah. No, it was back tire on my bike.
Oh, I guess it was. We thought it was the front.
Yeah, it was a back tire. So pretty exciting. That kind of catches us up with most of the things I wanted to tell you. And the things that are going on. I did see the professional monkey. I've seen him several times down in Daytona there. I only got him on, I guess I got him on twice. Once he talked, which was really weird. It freaked him out, I think, I didn't see him. He said something to me and I turned around and said, "Oh crap, there you are." And it was when we were at the Evo show at the, what's that bar called? It used to be called.
It was First Turn. Now it's just called First.
No, it's just called the Turn. And so I was going around just kind of filming people and stuff, just showing what's going on. And he said something. Well, I talked to him a few minutes with the camera on and stuff. Well, when I edited it, I put that on there. We didn't say anything bad or nothing. We just kind of talk about it and do things. And when I went to render it, so first after you get the video all done, you render it in the computer, and then I sent it to YouTube. So I rendered it and it kept stopping. Rendered it, stopped.
Fail.
And I'm like, what is going on? So I looked at the video and it stopped right about 3 seconds after I talked to him. It kept stopping. So I thought, well, I'm just going to cut out the rest of his interview there from there to the end. And it worked fine. So some reason my computer did not like Professional Monkey.
Talking on it for some reason.
So I don't know. And then when he was at Jalipsy's Pizza there, I kind of just panned the audience and he was out in the crowd. I had talked to him, but I didn't have the camera when I talked to him there. So ran into them a couple times. Like I said, we've seen Adam Sandoval. We've seen a whole bunch of you guys. Who all did we see? We've seen who did we see at Willie's?
Oh, Harley Won Forever and ZZ Twin Cam. We saw those guys. Never got to catch up with Dave's Crazy Trailers. Dusty Country Garage is on. We just got to see him the other day. Went down to his place and saw him. That's Mike. Down in
Seen
Daytona.
Des
from Wind Road Therapy.
Yeah.
We saw her. And Mike, we see him all over the place too. I don't think he has a channel, but he was riding with Des. The Badgers didn't go, so we didn't see them.
We've seen some other smaller YouTubers. Like there was a guy that came up to me at the dealership, and I thought he knew who we were, but he gave me a sticker. And I said, "Well, Tam's outside. If you want
one of our
stickers, get a sticker." Well, he just kind of looked at me with a blank face, and I'm like, "I don't know."
Well, then when he turned around to leave, he said, "What was your name again?"
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I have no idea. So then I Googled the guy, or I checked him, and he has a YouTube channel. He has a small channel. I think he had less than 1,500 subscribers. And so I subscribed to him, and then I wrote and said, "Hey, I'm the guy that you gave the sticker to, so that way you realized who we were." And but I mean, there was a lot of other people there. We didn't see her two wheels or he's too tall. It's not his name. Tall.
Walking tall or something like that.
I don't know, whatever his name. He was there. I didn't see him. There was another person. Fair and Exchange had a whole bunch of people stop into his booth, other than the monkey, which we weren't there when any of those YouTubers showed up. Most of those people, we didn't see any of those people there. See, a lot of these people don't spend the whole week there. They go down for a couple of days, like Adam Sandoval. He's like that. Even in Sturgis.
Well, we did see Adam Sandoval.
I know. I told you that. I seen him at a dealership. And he talked to us a few seconds. I got him on camera, but I don't know where the video went. I didn't see him.
Never.
And
Elaine Marie's headbands, Mexi Philly. Yeah, we saw them.
Yeah, Mexi Philly. We didn't spend a lot of time. We talked to them before the show, but we never got back to them during the.
We never ended up. That's what he was trying to say. We never made it to the Iron Horse. We never made it to the Indian dealer. We never made it.
Oh, we never made it back out to Cackleberry or Cabbage Patch. We never made it back out there during the event. I missed chiropractor. I found out the last day she was there. We did make it to.
Deb and Mike told us that. They said, "Oh yeah, there was a chiropractor out there," and we're like, "Oh, did she have an aqua tint and red hair?" And yeah, that was her. I'm like, "Oh,
we missed her."
I fell out of my chair. I can't get up. I don't know. Why did it go back so far? I don't know. How do you lock it?
It's probably on the side. You probably got a handle.
I don't know.
Somewhere.
But anyway, don't lean back too far. I'll be laying down. Mine's a stiffy. Professional Monkey is going to be at Cyclosaurus Garage Talk later on tonight. There we go.
I know he does a lot of stuff with Cyclosaurus, but I mean, he did a whole bunch of stuff on that bike. He put all those new parts on, I guess, from Advent Black. I'm assuming that's where they came from. I didn't watch the whole video. Most people, I don't really have time to watch everybody's videos, so I click on them and just kind of see what they're saying and then kind of watch through it, and then that's it. So I don't really get a chance to keep up with everybody's YouTube channel, and I just don't have time anymore. Like today, I got finished up that video. What?
Oh, there it is.
No, you were playing with it.
No, I gave it to you to do the countdowns.
So, pretty exciting. A lot of things still going on. We're right now in the middle of rally season, so it's going to be kind of fun. It's just going to take us a little while to get used to this flying in. Leesburg is not that doesn't get that much excitement before it starts. So when we get there on Tuesday, we can get down there. I don't know. We don't get there till Tuesday later.
22nd, yeah.
So we won't be down into Leesburg till Wednesday. So we'll meet with the city. We'll talk to the police officer. We need to contact him.
And get that up ahead of time. And maybe the promoter too, Maggie.
Yeah. And get that set up for Wednesday sometime morning so we can get those two knocked out. And then pretty much after that, everything just kind of rolls in. Most of the vendors will probably already be there at what's the Harley dealer called? It's not Pig Trail. Gator Harley. They'll have most of their vendors will probably be all there by the time we get there on Wednesday. So when you see that one on Thursday night, things will already be kind of going. Amsoil Adam will be there at the trucking show, so he'll be downtown on Main Street probably Friday and Saturday. He'll be around. We got him on the channel too, so I guess he's another YouTuber, but he's a vendor too. And so we talked to him a couple of times. And so yeah, it's Daytona. Just going to take us a little time to get used to everything. Maybe if we go back for Oktoberfest, if we get something set up with Teddy Morris, we might be able to get in earlier to down there earlier and be a little closer to that end, which we've been down at that end before. We've kind of been moved around different places. When we first started going, we were down at Teddy Morris area and worked our way the other way. And then this time we're more down towards Main Street end and the track. So we weren't that far from Cackleberry or Cabbage Patch, but we just never made it
back that way.
Just too much stuff going on. Well, now with the sponsorships, we have to do videos for them. So a lot of those you haven't even seen yet because we still got to edit those. Those are ones they definitely don't need while they're there. Boss Hoss had us do several while we were there. Joey, I got one on his showing his new pigtails and all that. All them comments, you getting all them? There's a whole bunch of comments just coming in. Yeah, text some people.
I remembered something I had to do that I didn't do yet. They will be talking about the RR. Yes. Oh, that on the monkeys thing that he's going to be on. He said, I like watching all those guys and gals on the MeTube. Laugh out loud, but we're first watched back in the day as hockey. We love it. Watching the big wave in Cali. There's a lot of stuff. Is that what they're? No, I saw two. One was the Angels. There were two teams that were going to be playing, and I'm like, what kind of sports are those? I've never heard of those teams before. Riding on 3 in Tennessee. Add how that works, isn't it, Bob? Once you get enough and you put out all those videos and the time you put in, and then time to watch it, you lose a lot of others, sadly. Yeah. Sean D says, thanks for all the great videos. See you soon. Where are you going to be, Sean D? Are you guys going to try to come out to the Smoky Mountain Rally this year by chance? Probably not this year.
I don't know how we're going to fit that in because it ends up it's running over the same time something else is.
I think it's Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. It is this year. Now, next year it may not because Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue.
Well, the problem we have is it's so far away from everything. One, we have no connection with the dealership. I'm not going to ship my bike all the way out there just for that one weekend. And I wouldn't want to be
Somebody gave us her name and number.
Oh, the dealership.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'd have to get somebody to sponsor us because that's what's bad about a little 3 or 4 day rally. There just isn't a lot of money in it for us to do anything. So when you go to a rally like that, you might make $400 or $500. That didn't even pay for an airline ticket to get there, gas to get there. It's kind of like the monkey does. The monkey does it because he's wanting to have fun and do it. And that's kind of like all the rallies he does. He's more interested in really is having fun than necessarily putting out content. And we're the other way around. We're more interested in giving you the content than actually having fun. We have fun with what we do. We love to help people. We love to give information and all that. But we don't do a lot of drinking. We don't do a lot of carousing at night. We don't do a lot of that stuff because we're working or making videos or whatever is going on. So it depends on where we stay at. Like when we stayed at the Buffalo Chip, we were able, after I got done editing, we could go back out and do stuff. But same thing, if we're all the way over in Port Orange and I'm editing, the dealership or the vendor lot at International Speedway closes at 6, so you can't, we can't go back out after that. Going down to Main Street, we did a couple of shots on Main Street there, and it got good views. But I don't want once we got there, it seemed like a lot of the YouTubers got there later on in the week because it didn't seem like a lot of them had stuff out right away the first weekend. A lot of them were there more for the black bike weekend because you've seen more those bikes with the giant tires on them and the big giant wide ones in the back that you see more during Black Bike Week. Yeah. And when we want to do that, there was the
Detroit Randy.
Yeah, Detroit Randy was having a bike show down at the college, the Black College, and I wanted to go to that on Saturday, but once again there was the rain and we already just too much stuff. We had to do stuff with Twisted Tea because they're our sponsor, so we got to give them some publicity too while we're there. So a 10-day rally, as I said, even with a 10-day rally, we really didn't have enough time to cover everything that we needed to do. Yeah. So once we get into the rally season, things will start loosening up because we end up getting to where, like here, I lost all my hard drive from Sturgis last year. So we had to go back and do a lot of videos this year with some of our vendors because we didn't have anything to put out ahead of time for them. So now we're starting to get some stuff. So the next week or so, I'll be editing some of their stuff and putting it out. We got one on Boss Hoss. They had a whole bunch of stuff. They had they're announcing people now. They have a 100,000 mile club. They had a guy come all the way. Was it Australia? That guy was from
Austria or Germany.
I think he said Australia, but he had his trike sent all the way over. And back then in the 90s, you actually got a kit. You had to build your Boss Hoss, which was kind of interesting. I didn't know that. And they got a new bike coming out. It's going to shoot flames and stuff, but it was
dragon.
Yeah, they didn't have the ignition working right to where the park wasn't working right. By the time it gets to Sturgis, we'll be able to see it. That'd be kind of cool. And biggest, baddest three-wheeler you ever be on.
He said he didn't realize how powerful it was. He said, because down in Daytona was the first time we actually got to ride it, like actually get on it and ride it. And he said, yeah, it's powerful. It's funny, Bob. You get to Sturgis way, way early and you still don't have enough time to do it all. Nope. That's how much stuff there is to do in Sturgis.
That's what I'm saying. When people always say that. And like I say, you can go back last year's content. We had 8 weeks of coverage in Sturgis, and every day we had a different video up on what was going on, what you could do. Well, the difference is just like what they were just saying. There's a thing going on, a religious thing going on. They have the 3-wheel rally. They have the Adventure Bike Week's going to happen during that the month before. They have the rodeo there in Deadwood. That goes on a couple weeks before. Every Wednesday, if the city, depending on the city of Sturgis, if they get rid of it or not, I wouldn't think they would. But they have a band downtown. They have blow-up things for the kids to jump in. They have food and stuff. And it's kind of a cool thing to go to. We went a couple nights to that. And Spearfish has events going on. Deadwood's got events. Rapid City's got events going on. So every Wednesday night, I think Sicky's out there. They have a bike night. We went to
Wednesday nights, yep.
We went to that 1 or 2 nights. They give prizes away and all kinds of stuff. They gave an Indian motorcycle away last year.
Well, it's after the rally.
Yeah. We gave our tickets to somebody else because we wouldn't be there, because they just call your number and you have to claim your number. But it was a brand new Indian they give away. So that's a lot of cool stuff. I just couldn't believe that. Plus, there's just so much great riding to do. You know, I'm not a big Badlands guy. I'm not a big Devil's Tower person or anything like that. But I mean, if we got all that extra time, it's worth a ride out. You know, go out to Sundance and check it out and see what's going on out there, and maybe go out to Gillette. I mean, there's all kinds. We'd love to go. We always keep talking that we want to go out and do
Beartooth Pass.
And maybe this year we'll get to it. She always wanted to go down to the hot springs and check that out for a day. And but I mean, there's just so much stuff to do in Sturgis. It's just in Sturgis area. I don't want to just say Sturgis. You're looking at the Black Hills.
Yeah, the Black Hills. And we've never been to North Dakota. But if we go to Beartooth Pass, is that part of North Dakota?
I don't think you go up that far.
Well, we've never. That's one of the states we've never been in. North Dakota and West Virginia.
If we hit those, we've been in all 50 states.
Yeah. Well, 48.
Yeah, we've been in Alaska. We might make Hawaii soon.
Yeah.
I gotta look at my points.
So Bruce H., where do you live in Arizona, and are you going to go to Arizona Bike Week? Maybe we'll see you there. So I love riding in areas in around Sturgis. Yep, it's also go to Fargo. I don't know. I just want to go and put my foot in North Dakota and say I've been there. I think Fargo's in the middle of the state. Isn't it?
Yeah, we're not looking to go 1,000 miles on the. She can't ride that far anymore.
Well, somebody. Oh, I guess the guy we rode with last year that now they're on the sailboat. He said that if you go up, he was going to show us a way to go up, and you could get to North Dakota, and it was a really cool ride to get up there. But he never did, I guess, give us the exact details, of how to get up there and do that. But and all my trips out, I still haven't seen it all. It's since 17 trips, Neil says.
That's why I say when people come up and say, "Well, I'm spending 3 days in Sturgis," and I'm like, "Why do you even go?" You know, we always did a full week. We went Thursday to Thursday before the rally. We got to the Thursday before, and we left the Thursday out of it because really if you want to go to Sturgis, the first weekend's the best. Daytona this year, I would say the first weekend was the best, but there still was a lot of things still going on the last weekend too. So Daytona's it's about the only one that kind of stretches stuff out. Cause like there, if you want to see the slow wrestling, it's only on the Wednesday and the last Saturday. So they have nothing on the first Saturday. So there is a lot of things, the Burning Bike is the last Friday. If you want to see that.
First Friday, isn't it?
No, it was the last Friday. Cause I thought it was the first Friday. And you said, no, it ended up being the last Friday. And cause we were in Port Orange when it happened.
Yeah.
So depending on the whole week is really the best time to be in Daytona. And being in Daytona always rains. It's best to be a whole week. That way, it's kind of like Sturgis. A lot of people went to Sturgis 2 years ago. It rained that first weekend, the whole weekend. Everybody whined and cried. But as soon as it got to Monday or Tuesday, it was like 70, 80 degrees every day. It was just a perfect weather. It was great that it chased most of the people off. And it was great riding for everybody else.
So James Riley said, People are saying that Harleys are going to increase in price in Europe. How true is that, do you think?
Well, first of all, everything's more expensive overseas. Now, two is if these tariffs that are going on, if all these countries are playing the games with the tariff, which people need to go back and look. Guy we have president right now didn't make up tariffs. We've been in the United States. I went back. It's hard to find document information right now on tariffs because they want to show you everything that's going on right now. But if you go back and ask for the last 30 years, what has the U.S. been charged for tariffs? It's actually, there's only 4 countries in the whole world that don't charge tariffs to us when we ship something out of our country. And so that's why Harley Davidson was going to start making the Pan American and the 1250 series bikes. They're going to start making them over in Taiwan because Europe doesn't charge Taiwan for any tariffs or no extra taxes.
And Europe is where the biggest
Pan American riders are.
Yes.
So once again, it's because we've been stupid as Americans not charging people for stuff coming in here because we are one thing we have as Americans is, which is sad, we spend the most money on stuff. We spend more money than any other country does. So we have that power. And if we stop importing so much stuff, a lot of these countries are going to go broke. And that's the problem. It's just like Canada and stuff, they've been taxing our stuff. Some of the stuff is like 200% taxes they've been put on for the last 30. No, they were taxes that they were putting on. And then, so Trump's coming back and saying, well, I'm going to tax you and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Well, we're
just trying to make the playing field even.
That's right. We grew up in the 60s and the 70s. And when we grew up, pretty much everything was made here in America. You very seldom had anything that was really imported in. All your manufacturers were here. Computers and stuff really weren't a big thing back then. They didn't have that. They didn't have cell phones and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, TVs and washers and dryers and air conditioners, cars, all your stuff was made right here. The parts were made here. We used to live in Missouri. We had the Chrysler dealer, the Corvette plant. We had the Ford dealership, Ford factory there. We had all those factories are gone today. And that's what's wrong with America because we're importing everything because we can't make anything here. And it's sad. And if we would have stopped that years ago to make it cheaper for the companies to move out of here than to stay here, that's what's wrong with America. And all these other countries are whining and crying about it. But it's like, why don't you go back and take off the tariffs or the taxes you've been charging us and let's just do it even? No, they don't want to do that because they want to make, Canada would rather have you buy milk from them people or from their eggs and things like that than buying it from America. And
I got something to say too. If you look it up at the turn of the century in the 1900s, when it just turned from 1899 to 1900, we didn't have any income tax. We had tariffs. And that's why we didn't have to have any income tax. When they started slicing back on the tariffs, they said we needed more money. So then they got it from us and charged income tax. So if you go back and look at it, tariffs are not a bad thing.
And so, yes, things are going to cost more money, but it's just like, I'd love to have the flat tax where everybody paid 25% sales tax on everything. Because then that way, if you can afford that $110,000 motorcycle, you can afford 25% tax on it. But then you're not paying any income tax though. And so I'm okay with that because then people that are poorer wouldn't be taxed as much because everybody always says that. I really don't want to get real involved with taxes, but they always talk about how Trump doesn't pay any taxes. Most rich people don't pay any taxes. You're not paying the full amount of taxes, and neither do we. Why? Because we're taking a deduction right now for 2 of us being married. We take a deduction. We're not paying our full amount of taxes, what we should be paying. You're probably that way too. If you're deducting your house interest, if you're deducting yourselves, you're deducting your kids, you're not paying your full share of your taxes.
You have deductions.
That's right. And so people don't look at that. They think, well, because this person, but it does. If you really go back and look at it, even though somebody like Trump or Elon Musk or whoever it is isn't paying, maybe they're only paying 10%. but they're paying probably more taxes than the whole state of Iowa is paying. The one person is, because they made so much money, but they have deductions. But the idea is, if you don't like what people have for deductions, they should get rid of. You should complain to the IRS or complain to Senate, because they're the ones that make all these laws. Nobody's doing it illegally. If you're allowed to, just like a business here, if we had, just like here, all those poor people that lost their homes in these tornadoes and the fires and the floods and all the stuff that's happened this year, they get to write next year off. They get to write off that house, and they can carry it out. I think it's 5 years. They can carry it out for 5 years. So they're not going to pay any taxes for the next 5 years on anything. Now, they lost a lot, but see, that's a part of that, why you get to do that. So if they make $100,000 a year and they would have paid $30,000-$40,000 in taxes, they'll get all that money back next year because they lost so much on their house. Why? One, it's right that they should, because they've lost everything.
They don't have anything.
Yeah.
left.
So the insurance will pay so much, but you need to deduct the rest of the stuff off that maybe the insurance didn't pay for. So it's crazy, but people need to look at the whole thing instead of just looking at politics. And it's just like Elon Musk. If you go back, well, here's a great one. The Board of Education, he's trying to get rid of that.
And people are complaining.
When the Board of Education and the Federal Board of Education, when it started?
1979.
That's right. I graduated in 1979. She graduated in 1978. So if you were in school before 1979, are you smarter than the kids today are? Because then it was ran by the states, not ran by the federal government. I would say we're definitely smarter than the kids that are of today. Just saying. Maybe they
What
can
do you think?
Yeah. What do you guys think? So when you think about all that, because people think, well, it's always been there. They've been taken care of. No, but what they're saying is there's millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars that are going to these federal employees. Half of them are working at home or wherever they're working at. And this money could be given to the states, and they can pay their teachers more, or they can hire more so they teach the kids better. They're not told this is what you have to do. Each state would be able to do what they need to do for their people. And that's actually, if you read the Constitution of the United States, it actually says that states are supposed to be running themselves, and the government, federal government, is only supposed to overlook. And once again, you got more control out of voting for your people in your state. If you don't like the way your state's spending your school money when this happens, then you can vote those people out, and you vote people in you want to vote in. Where at the federal level, you have very little control over what they're doing up there. You have more control as being a state employee, or state, being in your state and being more concerned with what your state's doing, because it's not so big. And it is all this crazy money. And yes, a lot of this money can't come back. But it's kind of like the Obama healthcare plan. I think it was 10,000 pages. It doesn't take 10,000 pages to do that. It's all the pork spending they put in there. We have a big giant mob museum out here in Las Vegas. We paid for that. They put that in the Obama bill for healthcare. It was stuck in there.
Well, another thing that's a big ripoff is all these states, because they want to push the lottery and how they get you. And I voted for it because I thought it was a good thing. If you vote for the lottery, because at that time our kids were in school in Illinois, if you vote for the lottery, that money is going to go toward the schools. And I thought, well, that would be awesome to build the schools up better and better education for my kids. And all of a sudden, after it's passed and it's gone through, and now we have a lottery, the school districts are complaining we have no money. I'm like, what do you mean you have no money? We were getting all this extra money from the lottery. Well, they're getting the extra money from the lottery, but the state funded
deducted
money, got pulled. So all they're getting.
So if they if they had $100 million come in for the school, they took $100 million out of the budget that they would have gave the schools. The school really got no more money. Government did. Politicians, which is I always say, doesn't matter what politician, they're all crooks, because anybody that makes senators make $176,000 a year. And I want to know how in 5 years they all can be multimillionaires. Can you do that? If you got a paying job right now, can you go out and get another job making another million within 5 years on the side? I can't. I ain't find nobody that can other than a politician. So until they get rid of all that, get rid of that, and they need to change. All this needs to change. And maybe it'll happen during this term. They need to stop having bigger than $100 donations by anybody. You get
lobbyists.
If you look, no matter what they say about Trump and all this stuff, but if you actually look at the top donors of, especially even the Democrat Party, it's all rich people. George Soros and all these people. It was the guy of Yahoo and Twitter and all
Google
these people
and
were all Democratic sponsors. And then they say, well, they're against big money. Well, when somebody's given $20 million to a political campaign, they're going to want something back.
Yep.
That's why we need to stop all that. It needs to get to where that corporation or that millionaire or us, you can give $100 to a politician a year and that's it.
Hey, Rod.
And if we could stop that, that would stop a lot of the problems we have, because it's just one big racket. And I was told, I tell this story a lot when I meet you in person, but I used to work for the gas company in California, and I met people. I was a field technician. So I turn gas off, turn gas on, go to gas fires, all kinds of stuff I did. And I met this guy one time. He was from Iran, and this is like 20 years ago. And he came up to me, and I was actually going to this building because they were getting ready to they call it raising it. They're going to tear it down. And I had to go there. They were tearing it. The next morning is when the crews come in to tear this building down. I had to go and make sure that our crew had got there, and they cut the pipe and everything was missing. All our gas meter, everything had been gone, and they cut it at the street. And just as a backup. So when I got there, this guy walked up to me and he says, what you looking at? I said, well, I'm looking at this building here. He says, oh, I bought this. He says, I'm going to build something there. And I said, okay. And he said, we just started chatting about stuff. This is way before 2020. And the guy goes, he says, you Americans, you're really stupid. And I'm like, pardon me? He says, you're the only people,
the only country
that don't realize that your government is stealing from you. He says, do you know why your money leaves the United States in cash? And I'm like, well, because it's easier for them to transport. And he says, no. If it goes to Iran or goes to Africa or wherever it's going to go to a general or the person that's in charge. Let's say it's $1 million. They're going to take that $500,000. They're going to take it right there and put it in their pocket right away. And they're going to pass it off to their generals to pass it out among people. And they take half of it. By the time it finally gets to people, there's no money there. And so this guy from Iran says, we know that. We know our people are crooks. They're only there to make their own money. You people actually think your senators and everybody, the government people are all here to help you. They're not. And you look at most of these, just like all the ones in California. When I worked there, I was a president of a union. I dealt with all these people. Pelosi's house is a multi-million-dollar spread, probably more than that. It's probably close to $100 million house. And with a brick wall around it and security on it and all that stuff, to where the average person could never even begin to even step on her. You'd be lucky to be able to afford to cut her grass, because she uses illegals to cut her grass, but that's beside the point. But when you look at all that, it's like, how can somebody that's in politics make so much money? And that's the problem with our government. And it's all governments are that way. And
I think some of all this extra spending, my thoughts are how Sesame Street in Iran, you hear all this stuff, and you pay all this billions of dollars. They probably said, well, we'll give you money if you want to put Sesame Street on your channel, but we in return are going to keep like 75% of the money.
Because once there's no trace. That's what this guy said. Once that money leaves the United States, there is no tracking that money anywhere, because it was cash. So I was like, holy crap. And then I started doing some looking on it, and it was just like with Hillary and that money that she's supposed to send over there, that was all in cash. So it's like, okay, it does make sense now.
Taxpayers are footing the bill. That's all your money that's going in their pockets.
I'd be all for, because I always say that. What's the reason the United States got started? Because you left England because of taxation, because they were taxed so much. So here we are right back. Because I always say the same thing. Like that motorcycle we're going to give away. Whoever gets it is going to have to pay some sales tax on it. Why? Wasn't sold in 1998? Didn't somebody pay sales tax already on the full price? Isn't that double taxation? Isn't that why we left? Nobody can ever answer that question, especially on used stuff. And the other thing is, some states, like we used to live in Illinois, we never charged for labor. I'm still wondering how some states get away with charging tax on labor. Give me that labor. How can I hold that labor in my hand and pay tax on it? It's not something you're giving me. I use that
It's a
line because
service.
they used that at church yesterday. They were talking about words, people speaking.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't grab my words and do anything with them.
It's not tangible.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering how some states get away with charging tax on labor because you're not getting anything for it. You got some work done, but how can I hold that work in my hand? I can't. So I would argue that point. Just something to think about. I think about a lot of those things like that.
Look at that, John Boy.
And they wanted me to run after I ran for union president. They wanted me to run in the government, but I said no, I can't play that game. I would.
He doesn't play well with others.
Yeah, and well, I can't. Just to get something good, I have to do something bad to make it work. I can't do that. I can't. I just can't. And that's a politician. You have to. If you don't play ball, then you're not going to get anything done for the people that you have.
Scratch your back, I'll scratch mine.
Yeah.
It's not the way it should work.
And that's the way government is nowadays. It's the people, whoever's in charge of the House. Now this one's a little different because it's kind of really close. So it's not as much, but over the past few years when it was more Democrat control with Pelosi and stuff in there, it was, if she didn't like what you were doing, it ain't going to pass unless you're going to do her a favor. So there's our politics for tonight.
Should be the golden rule, and you should do unto others as you want them to do unto you.
I'd say the problem is people make so much money like that. When you get into the millions and millions and millions of dollars of having that, you don't realize, they're paying. I always make years ago. This is probably back in the 80s. Oprah went to a Kmart store. She'd never been to a Kmart store ever, and she wanted it on her show. She went around and she thought a gallon of milk. And this is in the 80s. Thought it was $5 a gallon, and back then it was like $1.50 a gallon. And why? Because she pays people to do her shopping for her.
She had no idea.
She pays somebody to fill the car up for her. They have servants to do everything for them. So they don't have to, they have no reality of what everyday people have to pay. Well, we have to go down to the gas station, or we have to go to the grocery store and spend some money, or whatever we're doing, buying car insurance or house insurance and all the stuff we have to do. People that have a lot of money, they have other people that do that, and they really have no clue what anything costs. So they don't have any effect on this, which is sad that they don't. But we put politicians at such a level. I worked in a town one time up in northern Illinois, I guess it was, that the mayor in town actually worked at the dealership I was working at. He was a parts manager. I'm like, how are you a parts manager and the mayor? He said the mayor is a part-time job. He says I really only work about 3 months of the year if you add all my time together. And I'm like, what do you get paid? He says very little. I get a couple $100 a month. That's it. I'm like, it's more of a community service. And I thought, when I thought about that, like I say, this is back in the early 80s. And I said, this should have been what our politicians do, because our politicians work about 3 months of the year. And the rest of the time they're making dirty money under the table.
That's what I said. If the elected officials was all voluntary and you didn't get a paycheck, I think we'd have a whole different kind of
which is funny because
government.
They all complain about Trump and Elon Musk, but both of those are working for free. So yeah, people say this and this and that, and then you don't know. And I didn't know. We looked up something the other day that Elon Musk is actually designing stuff for people that are what's the word? Paraplegic, whatever.
Quadriplegic.
Yeah, where you can't move at all.
You're paralyzed from the neck down.
And he's making things where they can put in their brain to make able to do stuff.
So they can still think, but they just can't speak or move. So it's something that will trigger like a computer that will pick up a pen or to turn on the TV or by thinking it versus because you can't pick something up and do it, but you could think it and make it do it.
These astronauts just got picked up that have been up there for 8-9 months now. They've been up in that thing. And why didn't our last
8 days?
Why didn't our last president bring those people home?
Or try to at least.
Why? Yes, the government's still paying Elon Musk. He's getting money to do all this stuff too. Some of the programs he's doing, it's grants he's getting for his company. But why didn't somebody go get him?
It's common sense. Common sense is what we're lacking, and hopefully it's going to come back. And it's
funny, I guess one of Elon Musk, I guess his first wife, somebody had asked him, how do you become a millionaire? And she wrote, that's what she said. Well, first of all, if that's what your first goal is, you'll never be a millionaire. And kind of explained what he did. What Elon did was he was always a very hard worker and he never gives up. That's his motto. And that's how he's gotten what he's got. But he had no intentions of ever being the richest man in the world. He seen something, he wanted to do it, and he did it.
Or he saw something that needed to be fixed.
And here's a guy that wasn't come from a wealthy family, and he's the richest man in the world. And then they're making all these jabs at the guy at Tesla and all this kind of stuff. And it's just really sad that people, until something like there was one the other day on Facebook. This guy wrote 30 days ago, their police department cut everybody's wages. And he said it's because of Elon. So 30 days ago was Trump just got in office. So if they're cutting budgets, you wouldn't see that till your next fiscal year starts, depending on that police department when their fiscal year starts, because they already got money from last year budget, would have paid for this year's budget. So they're not going to cut anything. Yes, if they're getting rid of people, they're firing them and they're terminating them, that's a different story. But for actual money, they're not going to say, your police department, we're taking your money away from you. Well, they're taking money away from stupid things that are spending money for crap that it's our money. I would love not to have to pay income tax anymore. I'm all for, which we always said the same thing. You work your whole life to get a little bit of Social Security and they want to tax you on it. I'm all for the no tax on tips. You know how many people put the tips in your pocket? I did when I was a kid. When I got a little bit of tips, I just stuck that money in my pocket. I never claimed it. So why not let everybody claim their tax? Because the government already knows you're working your 40 hours a week. So why do I need to pay more than my $40 if I'm getting tips? I'm all for that. And I think it's a good thing. Help, especially a lot of these people that are low income jobs or working at restaurants and stuff, not making a lot of money. And to be able to not have to pay tax on that. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. And
somebody wanted to know, do you think the prices for hotels will ever go down at rallies?
The price of what?
Hotels.
As soon as people quit going. So it's like this year. Now we booked probably 6 months out for Daytona Bike Week. We paid for 10 nights in a hotel, a very nice hotel. Walls were really thin, but it's a very nice hotel. It was newer, $1,150 taxes and all out the door. That's what I paid for 10 days, $100 a night. That's crazy. You can't even find a hotel anywhere for under $150, $200 a night. That's the first thing people need to realize is you're not going to find any cheap hotel. You're not going to find the $30, $40, $50 motel rooms like you did 20 or 30 years ago. That just isn't gone anymore. Motel rooms now are $100 to $150 is the average. Now there's exceptions. We're getting a good deal off of Orbitz for Excalibur. I'm paying about $75 for parking, hotel, taxes, fees, and everything. But we're doing it on Tuesday nights. That's when we fly out. Or Monday night, I guess. We get on Monday night, leave on Tuesday. So you can, if you start buying right now, if you're looking at, you want to go to Biketoberfest, you better book your hotel room right now. You should be thinking about it now. Don't be thinking 2 months before, well, hell yeah, you're going to pay $250 a night. But when I Googled it, because I had a guy actually from Brazil, and I was going to do a video on it, I actually looked at Wednesday before or during the rally, Wednesday, and he wanted to know what it would cost him for 3 days to come to a rally for 3 days for 3 meals and for a hotel. So what I decided to do was I'm just going to go on hotels.com and I'm just going to take some pictures of what the rates were. Let me find my rates here that I had.
I feel better now.
Okay. So first one I looked at is Hampton Inn in New Smyrna was $309 a night. The Shores Resort and Spa in Daytona was $213. So for 3 nights, taxes and everything on that would be $545. Let's see what else I did. I looked at a couple different ones. Here's another one as the Bahama House in Daytona. Included breakfast. It was $290 a night, which was for 3 nights would be $652 with all your taxes and fees. The Nautilus, not Nautilus, Nautilus Inn on Daytona is $256. It'd be $576 for total price. The Hilton, I don't have a total price. It was $259 for the Hilton on Palm Coast. Another one for $304. So that's not that awful bad. If you look, I always complain about this. Let me look here. Let's see what Orlando is right now. Because people always say that, well, why do they raise the prices for the event? Well, here's a typical example.
Well, right now it's spring break. Anytime between, I think it's the 1st of February till the 1st of May, they consider that spring break now, and you're going to pay big bucks.
Oh, you stupid thing. There we go. Orlando. Let's pick
next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend. Do that through the 24th. 3 days in Orlando. Here, so you can talk to them and tell them what the price is.
It's been way over 2 hours.
Well, but I mean, you can just.
So the DoubleTree at the Hilton by SeaWorld is $109 a night. That's not too awful bad. With taxes and everything, it's $367. Westgate Resorts and Spa, it's $176 a night, $595 total for one room. Marriott's Grand Vista, it's $175 a night, $591. La Quinta Inns, $139 per night, $470 total. Holiday Inn by the airport. He never wants to stay by Universal Studios. That was another whole story too. I'm surprised he didn't tell you. $151 a night, $510 total. The Cambria Hotel in Orlando was $141 a night so about $500 for 3 nights. That's about the average.
So it's only about $75 more.
Yeah.
Than what average was.
Sheraton is $285 a night, $961. They're mighty proud of their hotel rooms.
A lot of them maybe. That's why I always look at a total price, because when you look at the total price, you can see if they're charging you fees. See, there in Orlando must be charging you more resort fees.
Yeah.
Privilege tax or whatever they want to call it. But I mean, that's not, when you look at that, it's not that bad a price. Yes, if you're going to stay in Deadwood, you're going to pay $1,000 a night or $500 a night. If you're going to stay on Main Street in Sturgis, you're going to pay more money. So depending on where you're at,
supply and demand.
Okay, let me show you what we've got for Panama City. So I have a hotel for Panama City set up, and I booked it a little bit in advance.
That's crazy. Neil says he can fly to Vegas for $366, but if he wants to go to Seattle, it's $575. That's weird, because down here in the States, the closer you fly, the cheaper it is. Because like you can sometimes from LA to Vegas, you can book them for like $59 each way. But to go from here, like to Kansas to see my daughter, well, now of course it's $300 because you're flying further. But that doesn't make sense because Vegas, I would think, is further away than Seattle.
Okay, so here we are. We're going. I'll tell you the name of the hotel. I have to go back. But so we're getting there on Tuesday, the April 29th, and we're staying till Sunday, May 4th. I guess I'm leaving on Sunday then. The total price with all the fees and everything is $732.49. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nights for $732. And that's the one I picked. And I said that to me, that wasn't bad. It's the Palomito Beach Hotel by the Sea Resort. And it's kind of like in the middle when I booked it. So there's where we kind of, so that's what I'm going to, if we would have stayed, which I'm going to cancel this one because we're going to stay with Steven to help us with money. He's invited us to stay there. We would have stayed at the Holiday Sands North from May 8th to May 18th, 10 days. That one there would have cost receipt. So for 10 days would have cost me $983. So it starts out Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of the week. Well, Sunday is only $49. There's a couple days only $49. Most of it's $99 a night. $79 for 3 nights, 2 nights at $49, and then 4 nights at $99. So for $100 a day. So there's Panama City. So you can get good deals if you book ahead. And what I do is because a lot of people said this has worked, and so far we're not having any trouble with it. Using Orbitz hotels.com, whatever. I try to stay away from cheap hotels, their website. But Orbitz, we've had no problem so far with the hotels we had getting us in.
Even though some of the hotel owners told us not to do that.
Yeah. So, but I've never booked anything in Sturgis with that way. But right now we're doing these three. We did Orlando that way. I mean, we did Daytona that way. And it was booked that way. And they didn't ask for any extra charge. They only charged me a $50 deposit and said we get that back. I didn't look to see if I got it back yet. But it could take a couple of days. It could be 7 to 14 days, usually they tell you. And for you to get your refund back. And so, but I mean, it wasn't bad, $50. But I mean, there wasn't, and it's not any hotels that were recommended by us. It was just, I was looking for something cheap, something that had a pretty good, 4 or 5 star report. So you can look ahead. I mean, now we're getting close to Sturgis, but if I was going to go to Sturgis, let me get my Orbitz back up. I would look, well, we could go, well, where did my Orbitz go? Orbit, there it is. Let's go back. Come on, get back on it. Hotel. Let's look at,
Rapid City.
No, I was going to look at Spearfish. Spelled it wrong.
FISH.
And that's going to be from August 1st through the 4th. Oh, August 1st through the 11th. Whoops. That's my starting date. Ending date is here. There we go. Let's see if there's even anything available. Yeah. So right now, waiting this long in Spearfish, you're looking at about $300 a night. 400. So yes, right now, if you wanted to stay the full rally, you're looking at $3,000 to $4,000, which is a lot of money. But once again, you're only 100 and.
Yeah.
So let's go and look at Rapid City.
Rick says he's going to Spearfish Campground for 150 nights, Friday to the Saturday, Sunday, Thursday before is 58 each day.
So you could do about half the price in Rapid City. So here's not a bad price. For Baymont, Windman, it's in Keystone. It's $248 a night. Costs you about $2,500 total, taxes and everything. Let's see if there's anything cheaper. Yeah, here's the Ramada Inn at Mount Rushmore. Is $208 a night, $2,300. Let's see if there's anything else cheaper. Hyatt. Let's go in here and look at price. We'll see the lowest. Yeah. Looks like that Baymont. Oh, here's one. That's $208 a night. Did I say that one already? Ramada by Weidman at Keystone near Mount Rushmore. I think that's one I already said something about. Yeah, it looks like if you stayed the whole time, you could get in the hotel for about $2,500. They get higher. David. So, I don't know. Thanks. But I mean, if you look at that, what is that? How many days that is? That's 10 days. So you're looking at about, with taxes and everything, you're looking at $250 a night. That's not that bad. Because I would say most hotels now are about $150 and up for something decent. Now, granted, if there was no rally going on, they're probably around that price, 100, 150. So are they getting more for this? Yes. But the difference is now is they may fill their hotel up now to where the rest of the time they may have 10 rooms booked next week, because nobody's there. So they got to try to make the money. If not, there's not going to be there next year for you to offer the hotel to you. Because some of these places, they only make money, like in Sturgis, a lot of these places are only making their money during the rally. There just isn't anything bigger going on. So it costs more money. And, it's just, I always say this at the Knuckle, like that. It was before rally for the hamburger and fries, it's $15.95. During the rally, it's $18.95. If you can't afford to give $3 more for that meal, under $20 for a meal is going price. Anywhere in the United States. McDonald's, you're going to spend about $20 by the time you get your food. So it's, if you're not used to that, if you're looking for something cheap, you can. It's just like Sturgis. You can bring your freaking tent. You can stay out at the Camp 5. Yep, you can stay out there on federal land free. You could ride your bike. You could go like
Scooter Tramp Scotty
and go to Pizza Ranch and eat once a day for $18 of all you can eat and get a drink and everything
you
with
could
it.
Go to the grocery store and buy you a bag of bread, peanut butter, and jelly, and have that.
That's right. And so, other than your gas getting there, you could go to Sturgis for a small amount of money. Do you have to buy a T-shirt? No, I didn't buy any T-shirts last year at any of the rallies last year. I got enough T-shirts. I don't need a Sturgis 2024. I don't need that. It's just not something you have to buy. And do I have to buy any of this other stuff? Do I have to go down to One Eye Jack's and pay
$8 for a beer or $12 for a beer?
And go down to the Vets Club and pay $3 or $4 for it, or go to Uncle Louie's and pay $3 or $4 for a beer. There's plenty of places where you can go buy you a 6-pack and buy you a foam cooler and take it back to your campsite with your free tent and stay there and drink your own beer and save you some money. Get you a whole 6-pack for $6 to $8, whatever, but so it can be done. But if you want to stay, it's like people go to Daytona. I want to stay on the beach. Well, you're going to pay for that. You're at a freaking motorcycle rally. Why do you need to stay on the beach? Are you actually going to go out and swim in the pool and get in the water out there and all that? It was so freaking cold this time. I don't think anybody was swimming. But so you pay for all this fancy hotel to stay in. And what are you getting out of it? Nothing, because you're not in the room. It's kind of like when we used to travel. I'd always say I'm not that picky about a room because all I want is a clean bed and a clean shower. Because the rest of the time we're not in the room. We don't eat. We don't eat at the hotel. We don't drink at the hotel. We don't get up in the morning, go and come back at night and go to bed. Take a shower, and that's the end of the day.
Bed and a shower. That's all we need, and a toilet.
And so it's not, I'm at the point now I don't do Motel 6s. I don't do the really cheap hotels anymore. But
don't want bed bugs.
Yeah, well, that you just don't want, like the hotel we just stayed at, which I would have thought it would have been better. But I mean, the walls, people were in the room next to us talking, and you could hear everything that they said. And they were up all night. I don't know if they worked a graveyard, and I don't know what was going on with these people. They got back in the room about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and talked till we left at 8 or 9. So it was just crazy how, but it was fun. The last night they were gone. And the first 2 nights, I don't think anybody was in that room. We didn't hear anybody. But we stayed at the Excalibur, and it was really nice. And so we'll be staying there a lot in Vegas. But it's just all about booking ahead of time. Just like in Sturgis, you could have booked, pretty much come the first of the year. Most of the hotels all have on their books already for booking hotels. So you can book that far ahead. So normally I try, like right now, if we're going to go to Biketoberfest, I want to book pretty quick. So we're here, what are we in March? That's April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So that's 7 months away. And I'm ready to book right now. If we're going to go, I want to get my airline ticket. I want to get everything. The sooner you can buy, the cheaper it is. You wait till the last minute, you're going to pay the higher prices. You ought to know if you're going to go to do Sturgis in 2025, 2026, you should already be thinking, am I thinking about going back to Sturgis? A lot of people this year said they're skipping this year and they'll be there next year. Well, then I'd already be thinking by the time the rally's over, I'd already be reaching out to people already. It's like Kathmandu. They already had a waiting list before the end of the season this year for people calling for 2025 rally, the 85th. So you just got to kind of keep going on what you're going. And yes, prices are going to go up because they know if the campgrounds are full, the hotels are filling up, they know next year we can charge more. You got to pay people more money now. A lot of these states now are $15-20 an hour for minimum wage. So the guy cleaning the room or the lady cleaning the room, they're paying more money for people now. So in turn, we have to pay for that.
Somebody's got to pay for it. Yeah. And it's always going to be us, the peons.
And so it's, and some rallies are cheaper, but I mean, it's like Leesburg. There really isn't a lot. There's no real, I don't know if there's even a hotel. There's a couple of hotels in Leesburg. But I mean, I don't know if you can even get a hotel now in Leesburg. Look up Leesburg dates.
Well, Gary and Pat came right at the last minute, and they got a motel room for 2 nights. Yeah. I think they stayed Saturday and Sunday or Friday and Saturday.
Let's see.
BURG.
Florida. I need the dates.
The 23rd through the 27th.
April?
Yep.
What is the dates?
23rd to the 27th.
So if you left on the 27th, let's see what we can find in Leesburg. Yeah, they got one here, Leesburg, the Windman, whatever, 140 a night. That's not bad. $624 for the whole time. Then it gets more expensive. The Hampton Inn, They want $258 a night. The Microtel looks like a nice place. It's kind of a dorky name, but $140 a night. Paradise on the Lake is $273 a night. Now they're getting more expensive. Marriott in Leesburg is $285 a night. Here's it's RV hookup. Bring your own RV, enjoy the farm life. They're charging $53 a night in Leesburg. Hampton Inn is $258. Canal House, that sounds like somebody's house. Sleep 6, 2 bedrooms. It's an entire house for $218 a night. That's not bad.
No, not to get your own house.
Yeah. So there's still some good deals, but I mean, if you're
Rod King says Windy Acres got more expensive this year. And that's like nothing. You get nothing there. No electric, no water, no nothing.
Well, you're paying for the bands and all that kind of stuff that you're doing. So.
All right. You've been on 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. Holy Jennifer Jupiter's Batman. When you said Lisa came on at the last minute.
Yeah, she did. She's on there. My friend Lisa.
She got off work.
She did. It's 9:30, so she's home. Made it home, and she's probably exhausted. Works 2 jobs.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
Double shift.
Extra charge for the camper. Jeez. They charge you more for the camper too?
Yeah, I think because I think they had tent prices, one price, and if you have an RV, they have another charge.
I don't know.
Is that where he's staying? Is he going back to
Windy Acres? Yeah, he'll be out there.
So, all right. Any more questions? If not, we'll wrap her up tonight. I think I gave you enough.
She's giggling in the corner. I bet she is.
You missed all the political stuff we talked about.
Oh, well. So, anyway, thanks for hanging out with us today. We miss all of you. We love all of you. Sorry if we've missed you down in Daytona. I know there's a couple of you said that we missed you. Hopefully, we'll get to see you at one of the other rallies. We love you all. We thank you all. We appreciate you all. Don't forget to give us a big thumbs up. Ring that bell for notifications. Why there was so many commercials, I have no idea. Some of you said you didn't have any. Others, Neil kept saying every 10 minutes there's another commercial, and so did Crap on a Cracker, Billy. So I don't know why. I had 4. Oh, 5. I've got 5.
She worked a triple shift.
You did. Oh my gosh, you are probably exhausted.
Neil says good night.
Yep. Two Will and Tom says great chatting with y'all. See you next time. Joe Wolf says great show again as always. From Kalispell, Montana. Still showing a lot of bikes, a lot of folks on tonight. 76.
Yeah, it was a good night. We normally we haven't been doing real well. So yeah, it's really good for all this time we've been on. And we appreciate everybody.
James Riley. Enjoyed the show.
And like I say, we got a good video. If you haven't seen the last 2 videos we had one on
go check them out.
They've got a brand new flat track racing team. It's by Royal Enfield. It's an all girls. They've everything from, I think the youngest girl was 19 up to the one girl she talked to was 30. And Tam was overly impressed because she looked like she was
a teenager. She did. I know. I don't know why I asked, because they all look so young to me. And I'm like, I can't believe they're out here racing. I was like, how old are you?
All the people like that. All the flat track people. There's so many people. There's kids we talked to last year. We didn't ask.
17. They were young.
18, 19 and doing this. And the girls weren't as fast as racers. But I got some of them on the track racing. She did interviews with them all. Well, not them all. About 5 or 6. She got interviews with them.
Okay, ready to see you there.
If you've never been to the flat track racing, it's kind of cool. Didn't see anybody wipe out or anything.
Thanks, Mike.
But one of the girls dropped her bike. But
did you see the one I did? I got one the very first night. He was going around the corner, and then they waved their yellow flags, and he got the bike up and got back on right away.
Was it when you were standing by the fence?
Mm-hmm.
Your camera was up like this. I couldn't see the track.
I can't see the camera when it's up there over the fence.
Look to see how it's
It
turned.
did. I looked like it was there in the curve.
When you filmed the water truck going by, either you had just a little bit of the road and a tire, or you were up higher. You have to go back and look at it. I couldn't use it the whole time you were at the fence. I couldn't use any of the video.
I can't see when it's 6 feet above me.
Oh, I do. I think I do.
Good for you.
Kind of look. You turn it.
I did. I was looking, and it looked like it was facing down. I'm like, my guesstimations.
Then she went back and played it over and watched it again. Hit the play button and see where you're at.
I don't know what to tell you. None of it on the tracks you could see.
When you were standing looking through the fence, none of it.
Any of the fence. All the whole time I filmed out there. Even the next day. When I went to all 4 corners. You couldn't see none of that?
Well, the part when you were walking around, they didn't want us filming the people. That was one of the things they said.
Well, I filmed over the fence there too.
You can go back and look at it. I didn't see any video I could really use. Well, the one you had where you didn't get the thing through and you could see the barbed wire.
Well, that's because then I could at least see what I was videotaping.
Well, but I mean, I couldn't.
I got it as close as I could. I moved it and moved it and moved it. And that's as close as I could get.
You took the microphone off, probably.
Oh, whatever. I guess we need to go shovel again. Yeah, poor Neil. He's still getting snow up there.
Should move.
And he said he's got to sell 2 houses, move, and something else all before Sturgis. Two Wheeling Tom says, Bob, you're going to end up sleeping on the couch if you keep this up.
After 46 years.
Hasn't happened yet.
So, all right. So we'll leave you all right here. What do we end up with? Still got 70. I lost a few here at the end.
Because we said goodbye, 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 goodbye. Great job filming, Tam. We need you.
And so that's why we film with a lot of different cameras. Because as I said, out of all we probably were there. We probably got hour, 2 hours worth of footage probably. And I only used the videos probably 20 minutes long. So it just, you don't always know what we're going to get. So when you're filming stuff, you're kind of like, I ended up putting on, which it was kind of long. I walked down the whole length of the people working on their bikes and stuff. And one guy was doing a clutch job and a couple other things. I just thought it'd be interesting to show you. And after I went back and watched it, I probably wouldn't have put it all on there because it was a long time to sit there and watch, unless you're interested in seeing what they're all doing. So I don't know if this time, some of the videos here towards the end, we didn't talk as much as we normally do through the videos. So I don't know if that lost some people. They wanted to hear us more talk about what we're doing or what we're seeing or things like that versus just seeing a lot of clips of stuff. I don't know. It's just when we try all this different stuff out, when we go to rallies, we try different things and see. But like I say, this year was better for views than it was for the last 2 years in Daytona. So we did something right. One person complained and said they didn't like what we did, but can't please everybody.
No.
And so we try to please the majority, because the majority is what's watching videos. Right. The single people that are just watching, like some of these videos, which some of you probably watched these last 2 days, 400 or 500 views, you definitely watched it. We appreciate something, but it's not enough to, if I made $1, it would be a miracle off of that, a couple dollars. And
well, those girls, I think that racing team, didn't they say that they work on their own bikes too? Yeah. They fix their own bikes and work on them and stuff. So.
And I thought it'd be an interesting video. I changed the title because first I said just flat track Daytona thing, and I thought more people would kind of watch it. And then I changed the title and said all girls racing team at the flat track at Daytona Bike Week. So I thought that might get more people, which it's got a few more now, but it's still not what I call a successful video. Normally we try to get at least 1,500. And if the videos get up to, 5 to 10,000, 12,000, those are great for us. I love the videos that we get to, which I've only gotten a few did that. It's 20 or 30 or 40,000 views. That's usually more like Sturgis does that kind of video shooting. But
I don't know, Neil. They must have saw you coming. He says he's got another video or another commercial.
I don't know.
He's probably had a dozen of them. I've only had 4, I think 4 or 5.
See, I'm watching on Facebook, so it's not. I haven't gotten any that I've seen.
Art says 2 ads the whole time. Yeah, I don't know why Neil's gotten so many. And so did Billy, Crap on a Cracker. He said he had gotten, it was like every 15 minutes they had a commercial. So I don't know. Play your music.
All right, so we're wrapping her up.
I'm going to hit the end button.
You're going to hit the end button. I got to put my ears on. Put my ears on.
So you can hear it.
Technical. Say a little bit.
I did. I said thanks for watching. We love you all. We appreciate every single one of you. We miss you all. Hope to see you all really soon. If you're coming to one of the but I can't think when you're moving around.
You gotta make people talking.
When you're coming out to one of the rallies. We hope to see you there, and be careful if you're coming out. So they said bye, see you next time. Oops. Now I just totally went off. I can't say goodbye. You have to end it there. Mine ended on its own. Did you already hit end session?
No.
Mine's gone.
I think it just still up here. People are still talking.
Well, I don't know. I can't see it because my thing went dead. Night night. Joe Wolf said thumbs up.